Oh,
Hey guys, welcome back. We're going live. Got me, my boy Key, and CBJ, one bad motherfucker, about to get dressed in the dressing room.
Yeah, Chris is.
He didn't want to go live without his shirt on.
Yeah,
ladies.
It's funny that he was the one that was like, "We should just go live right away," and he doesn't have a fucking
shirt on. But he wasn't ready. He was the one that wasn't even ready.
He didn't have a fucking shirt on. Man. Motherfucker thought we were playing shirts and skins or something. This ain't a pickup game, Chris. We're going live here, buddy.
Well, let's go live.
Let's go live, man.
You know, I don't have a shirt close by, so.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, let's sort that out.
Well, it is what it is.
Wow. So you guys want to? I think first, because it's been a little while since we did a show, so a lot has happened in the NBA since then. And the one thing we haven't really got to discuss, and it almost seems like ancient news now, is the Warriors, because they got eliminated by the Lakers. And so I was thinking maybe we could start off doing a little Warriors talk and then jump into some playoff stuff. I'm curious where everyone thinks the Warriors are at after that, and what needs to happen with the team going forward. Steve, what did you see? You watched that Laker game?
Yes, I did watch the Laker game, and I watched the Memphis. Of course, I watched them both. All right, but I mean, let's be real. Like, you guys know me, man. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. So I'm gonna be honest with everybody right now. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with the Niners, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with the Warriors. I think when Klay comes back, if you can manage a decent player out of these 2 first-round picks that we get. And I think we'll have a team that's going to compete for the Western Conference Finals.
So hold on. Now, when you say manage a player out of the picks you have, do you mean picking a player and having that player work out with a championship team, or do you mean moving one of those picks for a player to try to chase a championship?
Look, we got possibly 2 first-round picks next year.
We do. Almost for sure. I mean, Minnesota may end up with the top 3, but unlikely. Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know like how they want to build, because they're going to be building a bench. They're starting 5 set pretty much. I think they feel like it's set. That's what they were saying about Mark. You got Wiseman, you got Wiggins, you got Klay, you got Steph, and you got Dre, and that's your starting 5. You're trying to work your bench out there, and you're hoping Wiseman comes along. Like, realistically, that's kind of your big hope is Wiseman, takes a step up and be a little more productive as a big in the system. But, at the end of the day, I think if you added Steph to the team we had this year, that would have made a huge fucking difference.
You mean Klay?
Huge fucking – I'm sorry, if you added Klay to the team, it made a huge fucking difference on the team. Yep. So I think you add another year. I feel like Klay may not come back as a defender, but a shooter can shoot. I think he'll still be able to shoot. He may not be able to defend as well as he did, but I think he'll still be a good defender. I think all of that being said.
So do you think that's a championship competing roster right there is what you're saying? You think Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Wiseman is a championship competing roster? That's your assertion? You think so?
Yeah.
You think they're good doing that and hoping to pick pans out for –
okay. Barring injuries and everyone playing, I expect Steph and Klay to play.
Mm-hmm. I think they're competitive. I think you definitely are drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit if you feel comfortable standing pat with that. I don't think Wiseman fits with this roster at all. And I think Bob Myers saying that, he's basically saying that, in case we're stuck with Wiseman, we don't want to destroy his confidence any more than Steve Kerr already has. So we're going to act like we're happy with that. But the fact is, if you can move Wiseman and the Minnesota pick and even Wiggins for, say,
Thank you for saying the name.
A big-time player – you can move. One of the trade things that I've seen thrown around that I think, tell me what you think about this. Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner for Wiseman, Wiggins, and the pick. In the Minnesota.
I would do it in a heartbeat, bro.
Think about that roster. Brogdon and Miles Turner's defense at the 5. That is a sick
Brogdon
roster.
Over any one of those players, bro. I would take him, no problem. Because here's the thing, here's the thing. The other day, when we had to cancel the show and didn't do it. One of my questions was, hey, Kool-Aid drinkers, how do you feel about Wiggins now? How did you feel every time there was a moment that he didn't hit the shot? That every sixth play he would turn around and maybe make a rebound, and then he would disappear for stretches, right?
You know
Wiggins is who Wiggins is, bro. And if you can move Wiggins, Wiggins needs to be moved, bro. You need to take advantage of the talent of the Evan Ingram in him where you see these flashes. Take advantage of moving him, a pick, a Wiseman, and getting you in a real deal player, because he's not, and you need to bring in a young gun that's real deal, that's going to alleviate some of the pressure from Steph having to run 7 miles a game and Clay having to come out and guard the best dude each and every night and put pressure on that leg, bro.
Bring in someone that can guard players the way Wiggins was guarding players. Wiggins was a good defender on our team. Like,
oh yeah, really good.
He was.
Yeah. So was Marcus Smart, bro. But so was Marcus Smart.
But we don't have Marcus Smart.
We have playing in ball.
We don't have Marcus Smart. We have Wiggins.
He's far. He's expendable.
So we go ahead and take a chance with somebody else that might not play defense. It might be like a Kelly Oubre
immediately. I'd make that trade immediately.
Me too.
That's fine.
Me too.
The trade, I get it. I'm not worried about, like, if they make a trade to get better.
We already know that it doesn't matter who they bring in. If they bring in Alex Lynn, you're gonna root for him, bro. You've well established that.
Look, I'll say this. I think Wiggins on the roster, depending on how things break down, I think he's still a valuable piece that can fit on a championship roster. You can't expect Wiggins to be your number 2 option. And here's what the Warriors need for sure. If you keep Wiggins, you need more shooters to put around Steph. In Clay, obviously, there's one more shooter you got right there. If you can get another shooter in there, and so, you can go, you diversify your lineups when Draymond's real stagnant. You got someone else that can come in and shoot.
Maybe Jordan Poole pans out.
I think he's already panned out. I think he's your guy you want coming off the bench.
You only have one Draymond jumper on the court at once with that team, bro. And you can't have Wiggins and Draymond on the court at the same time because their jumpers are about equal, bro.
If you have another shooter, you need 2 shooters with Steph. If you have Clay and then you've got another shooter out there, a spot up 3-and-D type of dude or a stretch 5 type of cat that can hit the 3 and open up space the floor for you. Wiggins then has slashing opportunities. Him and Draymond work. And Wiggins is a great defender. The big thing I'll say about Wiggins, the biggest knock against Wiggins is that motherfucker gets paid $30 million a year. He's not worth $30 million a year. He's a good player. He plays solid defense. But he ain't worth 30. So if you can take that salary space and use it to go move, if you take him and Wiseman's $8 million a year right now, I think. Wiggins is 30. So if you package those two together, you're giving a young, big, athletic, big with the sky's the limit, who doesn't fit the Warriors system. The Warriors are sitting there trying to make the dude be Tim Duncan. That's not his game. All right. Yeah. He's a face to the fucking hoop, pick and roll center.
How about a Michael Porter Jr.? How would he fit? How would he fit with this fucking team? How would he fit with this team?
I like him too.
Right?
Look,
you know what I'm saying? You have to give up assets. You have to give up assets. Yeah, you're not getting him now. His little run over the last 2 months is secured.
We're going to say yes on that.
Him and Gordon kind of look pretty good together, bro.
Yeah, they do.
They kind of look pretty good together, dude. I'm like, damn,
Gordon's
that's a big
ass, though, right? He's undercover ass. That dude has a terrible offensive game.
Dude,
he can't shoot the 3. No J.
No J,
bro. You talking about Gordon Hayward?
Bro.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
And Denver,
right?
Because they were just talking Michael Porter Jr. And so those two together, Michael Porter Jr. can shoot the lights out, but then Gordon, he's sitting out there in the corner, can't hit a corner 3 to save his life.
But boy, don't give him a running start to the rim.
The goddamn right, that boy will dunk on anybody.
Don't give him a running start to the rim, bro.
Yeah,
right. But but no, man.
What about one other thing on the Warriors, real quick?
I'm not hating on Wiggins. Okay, hold on. I'm not hating on Wiggins as a man, as a person. I'm not as Stephen A. I'm not calling him a piece of shit like some people have in past recordings, right? But I am saying that $30 million, his game, his lack of jumper, he does not fit this Warrior team outside of you guys defending him, saying, "Oh man, you watch him defend? Do you watch him defend?" He doesn't fit this team, and you need to utilize that asset to upgrade and get you one that fits better. That is my biggest fit my biggest thing with Wiggins. And you even coming with the trade saying, man, Brogdon, yep, I would trade Wiggins for Brogdon straight up.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. But that's saying he doesn't fit with the team is not accurate. Kelly Oubre doesn't fit with the team. James Wiseman doesn't fit with the team. Wiggins fits with the team. It's just what do you put around him? You can't expect the dude to be your number 2 option on a championship team. That's not realistic. He's your two-way player. He's a two-way dude that can get buckets here and there, but he's not a clutch player. Yeah, it's too much money. There's no doubt. The dude got an oversized contract. It is what it is at this point. Bro.
You've got to look at it as an asset.
I agree.
What do you think?
If you can move him for something good, you do it. But if you can't, then he can still fit on a championship roster.
Would you trade him for Dillon Brooks?
Yeah, I like Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, I would trade him for Dillon Brooks.
Dillon Brooks is hella undercover, bro. That dude is a fucking good-ass player, bro.
He's a good defender, and that motherfucker has some games where he explodes offensively.
Because I'll tell you, John Morant's another dude who don't have a jumper either.
Mm-hmm.
But that dude has mad game, handle, mad foot.
Footwork is amazing with that kid, dude. For someone that young, so good.
He's got tremendous bounces.
But jumper is
yes.
And I'll tell you, but that dude Dillon Brooks he's got game at both ends of the court. He is a bulldog. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As well. I am like this dude.
I actually think he's the most I don't know if I want to say the most important player on that team, but he's the player that's like, so goes Dillon Brooks, so goes Memphis. You know, like if he's on and he's balling, they're up there with anybody in the league. They're really hard to beat.
Yeah, but John Morant gets going, he gets going.
Yeah.
And they push, both them dudes defend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the thing. That's why, I don't know.
So switching gears off the Warriors a little bit. What do you guys think about the Clippers?
Well, that goes into what I was trying to ask. It's the Kawhi, because looking at the Clippers, that's something Warrior fans have been talking about for a few years now, is if it falls apart with the Clippers, there may not be a team that Kawhi fits better with than the Warriors. I mean, if you put him on that roster.
His intangibles outweigh because Kawhi's intangibles as a player, right? The quiet,
Kawhi won't come to us.
Doberman in a sense, right?
Because Kawhi wants to be his own.
I don't want to be a coattail, bro. I think Kawhi does not want to be a coattail, bro.
You don't want because he had a chip. Yeah, I don't think he comes to us.
And plus, he's at home, dude. He's at home, bro. They're gonna build around that dude. I think he ain't going nowhere. They'll get rid of Paul George.
I don't care how good you are. As soon as you put that fucking jersey on, something happens. Something happens.
Well,
something happens. It's about as automatic as
the shadow of that Lakers organization kills them, bro. They need their own spot. They need to go back to San Diego.
That was funny, Steve. As soon as I saw Chris Paul go down, I go, God damn, if Steve couldn't be more right. This motherfucker's 5 minutes into the playoffs. Wow. Hurts himself. What the fuck is going on, man? What is up with that? I
just want to know this. Did you really do the Arsenio fucking fist pump like rumor is said to have been that you did when he went down?
No.
That you gave the Arsenio. Did you?
You know what? I was.
I know he laughed and said, "Call that shit."
I was like, I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when he came back in, I was like, okay. But then last night, you're like, yep, he's done.
He's trying to fight through it, but dude, you see him throw those passes. He's got no zip on his passes. He can barely get the ball to his teammates. That shoulder's locked up, bro.
Did he dislocate?
I don't know. They're being kind of like.
They said it was a stinger, maybe.
They said it was a bruise. But if you watch when he gets hit, it almost looks like his jaw goes jacking and he like screwed something up in this muscle situation.
So what happens is it's like a football play where you kind of pinch a nerve. You know, they call it a stinger. So and then it shoots a shot down your arm.
Yeah.
So your arm gets all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a stinger. I mean,
your arm gets like this, and you start going, oof, woof, 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 right, Steve, like that. Woof, right?
I just realized Chris never even went and got a shirt. This motherfucker's doing the show.
He just covered it up for no reason. Probably looked around and said, no shirt around here.
Didn't you hear me say I don't have a shirt close enough to put one on? So let's go. If I get cold, I'll just have a drink. What the hell?
But yeah,
so you guys think Kawhi? There's no way the Warriors can pull Kawhi from the Clippers, no matter how big of a disaster this is, because they're about to get ousted. They might get swept by Dallas right now in the first round, and that's humiliating. Let's be real, that's humiliating.
All right, so you know who I think the Warriors can get, and it might be kind of crazy. You might be able to get PG-13 though.
Yeah, keep Wiggins.
Yeah, I mean Paul George is way better than Wiggins, but. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like that dude, man.
I don't like anyone that gives themselves a nickname that means nothing to me because you haven't won in the playoffs.
Yeah, you gave yourself a nickname before you did shit, and then you proceeded to play like shit after you gave yourself the nickname. Playoff P. Yeah, okay, bud. The way to fuck this up
as well.
PG-13 was
a lot of these dudes self-gloss, bro. A lot of these dudes self-gloss their own fucking names, bro. Their own nicknames.
Yeah, but the timing of him calling himself Playoff P and then going out there and bricking the game winner and then losing dog shit after nonstop. Like ever since he gave himself that name, that motherfucker can't win a game in the playoffs. Really, he's just terrible. He was awful last year.
He's Yeah, I don't see why you would even want him on the Warriors.
I don't want him. I'm just saying
you would remotely be like, who we can
I'm
get.
saying I see him being the guy that's going to end up leaving the Clippers.
Yeah, he'll probably be available.
I'd rather have a Jimmy Butler. Oh, bro, I bet the Clippers.
Oh, I would love to have a Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy would be
the only dude safe is Kawhi.
Jim and Draymond might get into it, but.
Yeah, well, Jimmy can't shoot. Like, we don't do Draymond and Jimmy on the court at the same time. I don't know about that, man. I don't like that.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
They're two similar players. They're like glue guys, and their ferocity. You like all that, but I don't know if we need two of them on the court.
Right.
I honestly like the Brogdon. To me, the Brogdon and Miles Turner thing. If you can make that happen, you look at that starting five right there: Brogdon, Curry, Clay, Draymond, and Miles Turner. Defensively, good luck scoring on them. Miles Turner is a tremendous defender, and then that shooting you have: Brogdon, Clay, and Steph. What? What do you? I mean, I don't know how you defend that team right there. That's crazy.
Danny tried. That's what Danny was holding out on was Brogdon for Gordon Hayward, and they didn't do it. So that's why he decided to sign with Charlotte for more money because he was willing to go back to Indiana, and they wanted to give him Miles Turner, and that's what was the leak. But Danny wanted Brogdon. Because he knows, dude. I think Danny knows, bro, that guys like that when you have guys who can make plays with the ball in their hand on the wing, you got to have dudes who can hit them open shots as the defense is collapsing, and that's the thing, right? You can have the Clay, you can have the Steph sitting out there, but when they're the main ball handler and they're making the play and they're dishing out to guys who are throwing up brick shots, it hurts, dude. It sucks, and so bringing in guys who can't fucking hit a jumper to save their life, especially at $30 million, is a mistake.
All right, so
Wiggins has been a mistake.
All right, but I mean, we're all for the Warriors, but I won't even go that far. But anyway, what do the Clippers need to do?
The Clippers need to
move, fold your franchise. Just honestly,
I'd be
we're talking about teams needing to move. Like they're just look at what they're like. They can't sell tickets to their fucking games, man. LA is a basketball area, and don't nobody want to go to the Clipper games.
Well, no, they're not a basketball area. They're a Laker area, and that's where they've been failing because they need to go back to San Diego, bro. They need to go have their own identity. That's why they're the Clippers, is because they're from San Diego, right?
The Clippers, they're perfect for Seattle. That's Seattle support city. When Seattle needs a team, send the Clippers to fucking Seattle. It's a perfect match.
Right. Perfect match. It's a perfect match.
They should do it. They're a snake bit franchise. I mean, I feel like they're like the Raiders or something almost. It's like they don't matter. They can't get right. It doesn't matter who they bring in.
Dude, they paid $4 billion for it, bro.
Yeah.
$1 million when it was barely worth like 1.5. He paid, dude. It's not even his stadium. He paid $4 billion.
I know. Yeah, that was crazy. At a time,
Mr. Ballmer, if you're listening, the three of us are available to come and work for you. We can fix this, and we can bring the Clippers a championship with Kawhi. We can fix this, Mr. Ballmer.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Ballmer, I can fix it. The three of us together cannot, because we will spend all day arguing about what we should do.
Who should be starting?
That's not true. We all agree. We start with Kawhi.
Yes, that's their main piece for sure. Yeah, here's another thing. Another dude I would get rid of right now. He's just a trash gremlin. Is fucking Reggie Jackson. Why does this dude keep getting opportunities in the league? He's a fucking ball hog idiot who takes idiotic shots all the time in inopportune moments. He thinks he's 5 times better than he really is, and everywhere he's gone, he's a detriment to the team. And then he plays big minutes there. It makes no sense to me, man. They play some dumb shit lineups.
Man, I'm wondering how much of this is that AAU, these are my boys, bring them in mentality from when Kawhi first got there with Ballmer and Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
And Doc Rivers saying, sure. And now they're straddled with a handful of these dudes, right?
Yeah.
And they're really kind of scrambling like, what do we do, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think, not everybody's a GM like LeBron. We talk a lot of shit about LeBron, but one thing LeBron has been pretty good at is knowing the players that work with him. I don't know that Kawhi does that. So giving him that LeBron treatment to be like, hey, pick who you want to play with. I don't know that was the move. Yeah. Right, I think that was a bad
idea. It's easy for LeBron to say, hey, AD, I notice you're pretty much might be the top 4 or 5 guy in the league. You want to come play with me?
Yeah.
That's a little different than saying, hey, Paul George, you're my boy. Paul George ain't a top 10 guy, ain't a top 20 guy.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm still not sold on – I still think when we play AD – see, that's what I'm saying. We can compete in the West. Like, I can bring this all back to the Warriors because I feel like we play the Lakers.
Blue and gold gravity. I get it.
Well, me and Steve are going to talk Warriors. Yeah, you're good at getting us to the Celtics, but you best believe this podcast we're going to talk a lot of Warriors. But
you best believe that when I see that somebody is colorblind because they have their blue and gold glasses on and they won't just openly admit that certain things ain't working.
Well, it's the same thing.
I'm going to point it out.
When you just see someone is just a hater of a dude and not being real, because a lot of people do this to Wiggins. They're basing their opinion off of Wiggins' first few years in the league and not actually.
Wiggins is a really good player.
You have, so you don't know how good Wiggins is.
I've watched Wiggins
more than enough to know who he is.
Wiggins actually played every fucking game.
Yeah, Wiggins, exactly. Availability. There's no greater factor than being available and being a tremendous defender. Yes. And he's had games where he shot well, no doubt. Now, look, that Memphis game, you got to understand the letdown after the Laker game. We're exhausted. We're playing an 8-man rotation. Everyone's tired. I knew it was going to be a letdown game. Steph tried to will us to victory. Yeah, Wiggins played like shit, but that dude played great in the LA game. He played great in the Memphis game before that. No, he's not.
And and
I like Marcus Smart. When I talk about your team, you guys need to keep Jalen, Jason, and Marcus. Those are your 3 players that I keep and fucking get rid of everybody else.
Marcus is the only other guy I think that has real value to bring anyone back, to be honest. I think Kimba's lost a lot of value, but I think Marcus is the only dude that has any value that you can bring a piece back to fit with.
I think there's some idiotic franchises out there that would like Kimba to come pound the rock into the ground and watch him put up 30.
And I'm not saying, how about this? I've always thought it was fucked up what happened to him in Cleveland, the way they did him, to favor LeBron. I thought it was screwed up. I thought that he does have a lot of talent, but it starts to show that in the way that this game is played, outside shooting is a big factor on whether you are really going to be a super effective player or a bit or role player. And I think his outside shooting has not developed, having the opportunities that he's had in Minnesota, being the number 1, 2, or 3 guy. This year, he gets. I'm not saying he's a crap ass player, bro. He's a good player, dude. He is. You know what I mean? But
he's a good
he shot good from 3 this year, though, too, Chris.
Yeah,
he shot good from 3 in that game.
He had a career year with us this year.
He shot like 37% from 3.
Steve.
Yeah, Jordan Poole's an up-and-coming player.
So did Juan T, bro.
Yeah, Monty's a dog. Monty's a dog. I want all these dudes on the team still.
So did Kevon Looney, bro. All these dudes had 3 years this year, bro.
Kevon Looney, bro. Yeah. I want all of them back, bro. I told you.
We were playing an 8-man rotation. We got 7 roster spots still to fill out there. If those guys are depth, then it's a good thing. If they're playing 30 minutes a game, it's good.
Bro. Steph had a career year damn near, bro.
Yeah. What's the point?
I mean, everybody seems to have career years these days. Saying that a guy had a career year, what? All these fucking dudes do these days. The game is set up now.
No, but Wiggins
have two ways to have Wiggins as your third, bro.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We don't want Wiggins.
I know you don't want Wiggins. I understand you don't want Wiggins.
I don't think the Celtics want him either. I don't think the Celtics would want him either.
He doesn't fit you. I mean, he plays a position you guys have players.
Yeah, you already got
make sense for your roster.
And again,
there's a lot of teams who would want him.
What the Warriors do either.
Look, you can be someone better than Wiggins.
He fits great. He's a great fit.
First of all, I'm not going to say there's no one better than Wiggins.
I disagree.
If you can make a trade and get someone better than Wiggins, I'll take it.
Right.
But I'm not opposed to having Wiggins back next year.
Who's better than Wiggins? Where's your cutoff, Steve, for who's better than Wiggins?
We were just talking about trades we would do just a minute ago.
Brogdon, who? Brogdon, who? Who else?
Didn't we talk about the dude from Memphis? We said we'd take him.
Dillon Brooks, yep. Dillon Brooks. I think Dillon Brooks is a good line for where that is.
That's a different player, though, too.
It's a different type of player, but he gives you threes, D and threes.
Yeah,
well, you're not trading him for. You're not trading. Would you trade him for Victor Oladipo?
No.
Would you trade him just for Miles Turner?
Maybe. That's a good one.
I probably would, although
that's on the line.
It's on the line. I mean, straight up for each other, I think you probably would, but then you need to move Wiseman for a 3-and-D shooter to fill in Wiggins' spot there on the roster. But I think from a value standpoint,
bring Iguodala back.
No.
What?
No.
If they gave you Iguodala and a pick.
Dude, Iguodala's like a year away from wearing glasses like you got on, Chris. He's going to be out there with the chains on, swinging around, doing his Iguodala thing.
Hey, to be honest, I saw a report that, when it all's said and done, Wiggins or Iguodala will get released, and we might get him on.
Sign him for the vet minimum.
I can see that. Okay, so Wiseman for a 3-and-D, right? So...
And you should be able to get almost whoever you want. Wiseman's got a really high ceiling. A lot of teams would be interested. He's young as shit.
Yes,
you should be able to get a quality like Robert Covington type of cat for you
better get better than Robert Covington, in my opinion.
Well, I'm saying he's a quality 3-and-D type of dude. You can should be able to get something like that.
Should be able to get somebody like him. Yeah.
Right.
Wiseman is such a weird player in today's NBA, bro, being a 7-footer. How does it fit, bro? The game is moving outside. That's why one of my questions. The
Warriors used him wrong. Kerr used him wrong. Look, he fits. He's a Giannis type of player. He's not a post fucking center though. And Kerr kept trying to have him sit in the post and then pass the ball around. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what they're doing with him now in the offseason. Like, are they going to try to make him fit? Try to find the game. Try to make because now you got a full season. That was another thing I'm thinking. Like, you got a full off season now to work with him. This kid, he's in your office. He's learning the offense. You can get him to do the things you need him to do on the team. Like, you could teach him these things. He's young. I don't even want to just get rid of him for nobody, to be honest with you, because the kid is young.
I agree. And he's extremely athletically gifted and he's physically talented. But his game does not fit Steve Kerr's offense. It does not.
In 10 years, this motherfucker's balling on some other fucking team like Houston or some shit.
Very likely to happen because they'll play him the way that he's supposed to be used. Yep. He's not being used properly by Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr wants him to fit in his system. That's not Wiggins' skill set. Wiseman's skill set. It never has been. If you go back and watch him, that's not how he plays hoop, man. So you're asking the dude to basically revamp his whole game. It makes no sense.
He is young.
I agree, dude.
He is 19 now.
I know. But
bro, he is a kid.
The NBA is moving away from the basket.
And he's got talent. So what do? You get him a jump shot.
Well, he can shoot the three. He actually has a 3-point shot. What you need to do is stop putting him in the post, expecting him to distribute the ball from the post. He's not a back-to-the-basket player. He's a head-up, face to the basket, shoot the three, pick and roll to the hoop, run to the rim, run to the hoop, fucking lob him the ball. That's how he plays. Where the Warriors can still do that, but he's got to improve defensively a lot because he was a serious liability there as well.
He is a liability. He didn't understand the defense. He didn't know where to be. Yeah. Look, as a 7-footer, he could be a
foot and move and play like a guard, bro. That's why my question was, and we still haven't even touched upon it, is who is the best remaining defenders on the perimeter? What's the best defending perimeter team? Because that to me is where it's going.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
game today.
That's the NBA's game today.
Having a 7-footer is great, but if you've got a 6'10" guy who can rebound and defend on the perimeter, bro,
the best perimeter before the series, because they've proven to not be that. I would have said the Clippers would have been the best perimeter.
They should be. They should be. When you look at their lineup, they should be, but they're not.
You see what they're leaving Dallas wide open? They're terrible.
There's a player for the Warriors. So what about Tim Hardaway Jr. on the Warriors? Ooh, that's interesting, right? He fits nicely. But yeah, they were raining threes on him. I mean, Luka's embarrassing people on their team. It doesn't matter who they put on Luka either. He's making people look foolish out there. Yeah, they should be, Steve. You're right, but they're not. I think probably the Lakers are the best perimeter defensive team right now.
Well, they're the best defensive team in the league.
Period.
Right now, right? Yeah.
When they lock in, though, because the Suns are a good 3-point shooting team, and they stifled them this last game pretty well.
Pretty. Yeah, they were on them. Yeah, and to me, dude, that's what you want. I mean, if you're going to bring in anybody, that needs to be one of the biggest prerequisites of building a roster in today's day and age. Is can you defend on the perimeter, because that's where the game's going. Right, until they start putting hand checking back in the game, then the inside means nothing. Because how many guys are throwing a bad
though, Chris? You know who's a good perimeter defender though? This dude I've heard of named Andrew Wiggins.
I heard he's pretty good, actually. I think he's actually top 5.
Yeah, I think he maybe pretty good. Yeah,
he might be in the top 5. You want to look it up? We can always look it up to see.
You know what? I'm surprised you don't have it written down in your spiral already. It's not etched into your blue and gold glasses.
No, I've been doing more of this.
I doubt that.
The hell is that?
Hippie Hill. I'm just.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well. Very on brand for Steve.
Yeah, a bunch of nothing.
I'm not,
bunch of nothing.
Actually, yeah, I haven't been to Hippie Hill for 2 years. It's been closed down.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, COVID.
There is no 420 festivals for me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for you, Steve. I'm sure that's really taken a big chunk out of your.
It actually has. I mean, those are my days that. Huh?
Who cares about your adventures to Hippie Hill or Strawberry Hill or Strawberry Boons?
Wow. Okay. Well, there it is. All right.
Did you guys see stuff? You guys remember Strawberry Boons?
Can we now talk about the Nets?
Oh yeah, you probably
wow. You want to talk about the Nets?
Strawberry Boon.
Wow.
Okay, but are we really going to get excited about the Nets right now when they're playing a Celtics team that is like a shell of themselves already? Anyway, they don't even have their second or 1A or 1B player. And they were very good when they had him. They have two quality players. One of them's hurt, so now they got
And Tatum is hurt now too, right?
This team is extremely flawed. Extremely flawed. It's so evident.
And they played with them in game 1. Let's be real. If the Celtics pulled one of these games right now, and they were in the game in game 1, if they had somehow pulled out one of these games, we'd be talking about, hey, are the Nets done? Like, I haven't seen. Yeah, they blew up last game. That's what's going to happen with them. They're going to have games where everyone's hitting their shots. They're going to put up 140 points or whatever, and they'll be unbeatable.
Went down, bro. You seen everybody. Everybody's like, just pack up, bro. Right?
Except for Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, he kept playing.
Marcus don't know how to quit, bro. He's just an incomplete player, bro. That's
but he's a dog, and you got to have dogs on your roster. The man is a dog.
I'll
take Marcus Smart every single day of the week.
Like I said, he's our only real tradable asset outside of Kemba.
Yeah,
we could trade Kemba. Right?
Yeah, I know. It's astounding. I mean, you have 3 players that I would keep. Kemba, get rid of Kemba.
Oh, yeah, Kemba's number 1. But
yeah,
like
why
I
is
said,
Tristan Kardashian like? What's your other center's name? Robert Williams. That dude is a baller too. Actually, I like that cat defensively. My God, like the game 1, how many blocks did that motherfucker have? And his foot's hurt, and he was having none of it. You want to come down low? Not happening. Not today. That kid's good, man.
Zero offensive skill. Though.
Yeah, but he's athletic.
Not even free throw extended jumper.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Right. So again, limited. This team is extremely flawed and limited. You got nobody who can score on the inside at all, like with Tristan Thompson or Robert Williams. Those are your two bigs. Neither
Tristan Kardashian
can get an offensive rebound and fucking score a shot. Right?
Yeah, it's not. Come on.
I mean, and then you've got other guys who are out there that can't hit open shots, right? They're leaving Pritchard wide open. He can't hit it. They leave Marcus Smart open. He can't hit it, right?
Marcus he's streaky. He's streaky.
Bro. He hits 4 in a row and then he misses 9.
Yeah, but he's also that dude that'll come down with 3 people draped on him and drain one, where you're like, how did he do that shit? Right. He's a hero. He's a hero. He's a dog, man. I like that guy. Whatever. You take the good with the bad.
I like him, bro. He's the only play. He's a good 6th man. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
He's the first guy off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Tremendous dude to come in and pester the best offensive player on the other team, the best guard. Kemba's trash.
I want to score. See, like for me, I want to score.
He ain't got no jumper, bro. Kemba's jumpers fucking ain't that pure, ain't that money, dude. He's got his little hot handle and his little stop and go dribble, and that's about it, bro. Kemba's not squat, dude, in today's league, bro. It's disheartening, dude, to see this shit. Because it's like when we were, first of all, right, I think the Kyrie Irving thing fucking really must have sent Danny Ainge for a loop, because he thought he had it with Irving, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. Right?
He actually did. If Irving wasn't such a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. The dude's a weird cat, man. Is there a weirder dude in the NBA? I don't think there is. He's so fucking weird.
Yeah, and it's hard. And what's funny was the whole time, when he was there as a Celtic, I'm telling him, like, man, you just never know with these kids, man. You just don't know with a dude like this. You just don't know. And next thing you know, he's fucking in Brooklyn, right? And KD has basically told everybody he could tell, I'm going to Brooklyn with my boy.
Contracts.
You know what I mean?
In the tunnel, they got 2 max contracts.
It's just crazy. And so I'm sitting here just like, man, son of a gun, bro. Like, what the fuck?
My favorite Kyrie story, though, real quick, sorry, is did you guys see at the beginning of the season when that motherfucker came in and started saging the arena? This dude comes in with sage, and he's saging the arena, and then they come and they get across KD after the game, and they're like, so Kyrie was saging the arena before the game, and KD's like, yeah, I mean, that's just Kyrie, man. He probably sages the room before he plays NBA 2K. This is the kind of cat you guys got. I mean, like, that shows you how weird the dude is. He's out there, man.
He
called out Boston.
Yeah, he did.
He called out Boston.
What happened?
Well, he just said, I hope that the people aren't going to be racist and ugly like they normally are there. So,
I mean, much as I hate to say it, you can't fucking deny it. I mean, there's ample stories. I mean, ample instances where players fucking constantly talking about it, right? At some point when 9 people in a room say the sky's blue and 1 saying it's red, we know who's telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, it is what it is. The organization in and of itself may not fit the mold of what the city is, but it's evident.
Boston's been, it's a city with a tumultuous history for a long time. There's a lot of divides that have been in that city for a long time. Yeah. It's a weird place.
Up and down the Eastern Seaboard, it seems to be that way, bro. You know what I mean? It sucks to see because, like I said, for me, growing up a Celtic fan, it doesn't reflect how the city really is in a lot of ways.
Chris, why are you a Celtics fan? What got you going on them?
Honestly, because the day that my brother left for the Navy, I was super young at the time, maybe 5 or 6. He gave me his basketball, and on the basketball it said the names of Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, and I had no idea who they were. And one day my mom and dad said, "Hey, Larry Bird's playing. Do you want to come watch?" And I came and watched, and every time he played, I watched. That's how I became a Celtic fan. And I was always taught in the neighborhood, don't be a front runner, don't switch your teams, be true to who you are. And the teams that I started to like initially, when I started to get friends, I'm like, well, this is who I'm like. What, you don't like the Raiders? You don't like the Niners? Oh, so fuck you, Oh, okay, well, fuck you back.
Well,
I'll stick with them.
I don't understand, how.
Okay. Chris, and then there seems to be a common theme of white franchises. It's very consistent throughout
really?
your
Like the University of Miami as my college
okay. Well, maybe not
team.
that. Maybe not by that one. But your basketball is definitely it's white boy centric.
So I'll tell you why Duke. Because there was a kid named Mark Verrett who was at our school in Pinole, and he had applied to go to Duke, and we were talking about Coach K and recruiting and things along those lines. And so I watched Duke for the first time as like maybe a freshman in high school at the time. And, at that point I was like, man, it'd be cool to go there. It'd be cool to play there. Right. And by the end of my sophomore year, maybe I thought I might've had a half a chance. I was a decent student, played 2 sports.
You were
after that summer, not a chance. No chance. That's what you've got.
You saw him play, and you were like, "Hey, I fit in there."
Dude. And then
70% of the team's white.
Not just that. I always liked Grant Hill. I always liked Bobby Hurley. I always liked Christian Laettner. Right, that era.
I hated dude.
All of those guys.
Those motherfuckers.
More reason for me to like them is because everybody hates them, bro.
See, right? And I wonder if that's almost more like, I think hidden in all of this is the truth about Chris's fandom, and it goes into how Chris operates with us. He just likes to fucking argue. So what are the teams he can pick that would nettle everybody around him as much as possible? I'm in the Bay Area, bunch of Niner fans. Well, I'm a Cowboys fan. Fuck you. There's no bigger fuck you to the Niner fans than that. Boston, you're all the way across the country. It's white boy central over there. That's a good way to say fuck you to everybody in the Bay.
Because there are probably more Laker fans out here. And
well, let's just be real, bro. When I was growing up, bro, right? It wasn't like there was a CSN Bay Area. The Warriors were never on, dude. You had like 6 to 8 teams that were played in a major rotation during the NBA season, right? Mm-hmm. I seen more Houston Rockets games than I seen Warrior games as a kid, right? And when I was a kid, I didn't even know the Warriors existed, right?
When I moved here, I didn't even know there was a Warriors here. I was like, I didn't know there was in '85. I didn't know there was
That's
Warriors.
What I'm saying. It wasn't right, And,
I didn't know they were in Oakland. I heard of them, but I didn't know they were in Oakland.
I mean, it's just the era that it's just like me being a Cowboy
R.I.P. Oracle.
When I became a Cowboy fan, I was 8 years old, maybe even less. I was 6 years old, I think, because 78 when it happened. We went to a fucking friend's house, a family friend's house. Family friend's house, and they were having a Super Bowl party, bro, for the Cowboys versus the Steelers. And so I asked my mom, "Who should I root for, Mom?" "Oh, you should root for this team with the star on their hats. They always beat my team."
Yeah, so
she's a Niner fan, bro.
What year was that?
1978.
Yeah. Damn, Chris, it's crazy we're friends because you are old as fuck, bro. I wasn't even born yet, and I feel like I'm old. I wasn't even born yet. Damn. You became a fan of the Cowboys before I was born. That's kind of impressive, actually.
I bought cowboy boots to play kickball in, dude, because I was a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, that's
when we used to make fucking book covers.
That's information I just keep to yourself.
When we make book covers out of old grocery bags, the brown bags, I would sit there and draw football helmets on them of the star and of Raiders shit and Cowboy shit.
Everybody did that. Yeah, everyone did that.
Yeah. Right?
When I was in second and third grade, I did not all of my papers, everything I did that I turned in, I signed my name Jose Canseco. and look, when I started doing that, there was never even like an I was never batted. The teacher knew exactly who the paper belonged to, just came and handed it to me, got my grade back. There was no question about nothing. No one ever said a word to me about it. I did it for fucking 2 years straight. Jose Canseco. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Do weird shit as kids, man. As kids, we do weird
shit. Dude, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and the good thing is you hold on to it. And the thing too is my dad never fucking, he didn't try to brainwash me into believing this is your team. This is who you root for. Root for the fuck you want to root for. It's your life.
Who was your dad a fan of?
I think my dad was a Niner fan. I think for the most part, one of his brothers was a Raider fan. One of his brothers was a Niner fan. He didn't give a shit about basketball, but he did like baseball. But my dad didn't have a favorite team in baseball because he actually tried out for the Angels at one point. When he was before he joined the Marines because he had to pay, rent for his mom and brothers to live.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He said that there was this one guy that was there that nobody wanted to get into the box. This is his baseball story, right? That's where he said. So he said nobody wants to get into the box against this Angel pitcher because he's throwing like 106 miles an hour and he's hit at least 4 of the last 7 batters. And so my dad gets in there. He gets in there and he gets in there and he goes and he hits left-handed instead of normally right-handed. And he says, all I could do was enough just to slap the ball foul down the third base line. His kid was throwing so fucking hard. Nolan Ryan.
Oh, no shit.
No shit.
Wow.
He said it was all I could do to slap it down the third base line. And he said, dude did not want to get into the box after the 4th guy get beamed.
Yeah, Nolan was bro. Man, that guy.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that dude was something else.
And it's funny because my dad said he was like one of 4 dudes actually put the bat on the ball, and the manager, I forget who it was at the time, came up and talked to him and stuff. And he said that night he got the call from his mama saying, "Butch, I need you." Packed up his shit and left. And then,
damn, that's crazy.
Like within a month later, he's in the fucking Marines just to pay bills.
You wonder how many stories there are like that, maybe not as much anymore, especially back in the day, like a lot of people who missed big opportunities by a hair just because of life situations and stuff
priorities,
like that.
Man. And back then, dude, the men's priorities far different than they are, right? I mean, to him, there was nothing more important than taking care of his mama and providing for his 2 brothers. Yeah. You know what I mean? He didn't give a shit about baseball. He didn't give a shit about nothing. That was the most important thing. I mean, but his pops he was the oldest of 3. His pops cut out on him when he was 12, I think. By the time he was 13, he was working 2 jobs as a fucking grocery bagger and as a scorekeeper for bowlers, making, tips and money to help pay bills while his mama and his, 2 younger brothers tried to survive.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people's hard lives were back in the 50s and 60s and, from the, shit like that. Right. I mean, I really believe, dude, I'm super blessed to be born in the era I'm born in the area that I was born into, you know what I mean? And where I have the ability to actually be free-minded and free-willed enough to do and think what the fuck I want to do, bro, and I give credit to the old man for helping to encourage that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, story time with old man Chris is over now. Let's get back to some sports.
Let's get back to some sports.
Hey, but one thing I did want to say on that, though, it ties into sports stuff. It's an issue we weren't going to talk about today, but I think this speaks to it, is paying college athletes, because this story you just told is the kind of shit you hear all the time about why dudes don't stay in college and they go to the pros because they need money to pay for, their moms. They come from areas that are poor as fuck. Their families ain't got no money. And these colleges are making obscene amounts of money off of them. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I think we probably all agree that they should pay college athletes, right?
There has to be a stipend beyond.
There has to be a little stipend,
yeah. And I'll tell you, how about this, though? Okay, I do have a caveat to this because I was thinking about this recently. I'm glad you brought this up, right? Yeah. So, yes, I believe there should be a stipend for the athletes, right? But how about these athletes that leave early and leave the scholarship on the table? Why isn't the school taking that scholarship and that money they've set aside for that scholarship and giving it to some jackass like me or you or him or them? What the
fuck would they give it to us?
Why not, bro? It's already been accounted for. They gave it to an athlete that went there for
give it to another athlete.
Give it to another athlete, not some Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street. Who gives a fuck about that?
Why not?
Why would they?
It's goodwill. Goodwill to all.
Goodwill to a motherfucker that's been trying.
So how determined? Like they just pull names out of a hat. They're like, this week, Christopher Johnson gets.
Hey, they did that. They do that for the draft. They do that for the
school's money. What they should do with that money is roll it all in and have it as money that they pay the players. The players should get a salary, basically.
Or maybe I've seen take all that money and pay other programs.
They're on the meal program. Some of these dudes, I mean, you're talking about like some 6'9", 6'10" kids. They've got caloric needs. They're working their asses off, and they're like barely have enough to eat. They get to the pros, they put all this weight on, and everyone's like,
"How about this?
What's going on?" Well, he put on the college meal program. Give them some money, bro.
What about healthcare for these athletes? They
all have health care to a certain degree.
No, you don't. Once you leave college, No, once you leave.
Oh, are you talking about after? Are you talking about after?
Because most of those college players don't get to the pros, and a lot of them are hurt too.
Especially football players. Like the football players, there's so many of them don't make the pros and just get physically destroyed during their careers. Then
and have no health care benefits.
They don't have a union. They're in fucking college.
They're in college.
Bro, so if you're in college, don't get that twisted. They do have coverage within the team. If there's something happens to them medically, you think they don't go to the doctors? You think they have some of the best doctors in the
world? After they're gone, their knees been shredded. They can't do things physically. There's no fucking. They don't have healthcare then.
Companies don't do that for me. They don't do that for you. Why is this?
Yeah, they also aren't asking you to go out there and get your head taken off by a 275-pound linebacker.
Did you sign up for that? Did you sign up for that loads of fun? You sure did. You signed the waiver. I take care of you while you
do college millions and millions of dollars. I knew Chris was going to take the Tebow side on this. I knew he was going to be Tim Tebow. No, I knew it. I knew it.
What, you think because you go and you play a little fucking baseball, you should get medical coverage for life?
Yep.
Bullshit. Everybody should either get it
or it should be a moot point because everybody should have health care in this country anyway, and then it wouldn't fucking matter. I mean, that's how it should be anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody, but especially when you go sacrifice your body. But who's
sacrifice your body to go play a fucking game? That's your choice. I'm not making you.
The college makes so much money off of them. The least they could do is provide.
And now you're telling me that I'm giving them their scholarship. I'm giving them a free education and I'm paying them a stipend. Now you want me to give them medical for fucking life?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No. No, that's the government's job. That's not a private entity's job to do that. PG&E don't fucking give people medical for life after they spend 35 years and throw their hips, their liver, their knees away. Why aren't you? That's what you should be.
Why is it? Wait, Chris.
Because they force you to drink a lot.
They force you to drink a lot. That's your choice, Chris. You want to talk about your choice? That's your choice. Why do you want to talk about your choice? These kids are out there trying to get an education.
They ain't trying to get no education. Oh, don't you even dare try to say they're out there trying to get smart, bro.
A lot of them are. A lot of them are. You're getting a scholarship to a school.
Most of these dudes are trying to fucking barely go to class as much as they can and get through the sports until the phone rings.
It depends.
Half of these basketball players don't even enroll.
Yeah, well, basketball is a little bit different than football. I think more of what me and Steve are talking about are football, where you really take a physical beating in the game, unless you're a punter.
The football players got to be taken care of.
Oh man,
what about the good volleyball player? What about the good volleyball player?
Do you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is? Do you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is?
No.
Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? I think that she probably could use help in her congressional office as an assistant or something like that. I know you're looking for some work right now. I think you would fit right in. I think you should check her out.
What is she head of? What is she part of?
She's a congresswoman. She's a congresswoman.
And you said she's the head of what department?
No, I didn't say she's the head of a department. I said that you should go see if you could work in her department because I think you would fit right in.
Oh, why? Because you want to give just football players, medical for life, but are you going to give it to the girl volleyball player?
Because she's a heartless cunt who has no humanity whatsoever, and I think that you would fit in well in that kind of an environment.
Possibly, right? You ain't pulling on my empathy strings. I can tell you that.
I can tell. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
All this shit. Woe is me, motherfucker. First of all, you go into the University of Alabama. You've got hot TNA running around fucking everywhere that you can do what the hell you want with, right? And they feed you, they house you. You get all these fancy ass cars. I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you blew out your fucking knee.
Not everybody, for starters, a very select group of people get that. And we're not talking about necessarily those guys. We're talking about in general across. There's dudes who go and play at smaller schools. They take the same punishment everyone else does.
So Butte Community College, we're going to take care of them.
And
that's a different. No, we're talking about NCAA Division I.
Oh man, these top-notch fucking high schools, these prep schools that guys are going to that are oriented strictly for these programs. We can take care of them too.
Well, that's not what we're talking about. You're a minor at the time. You're under your parents' stuff.
Wait a minute. No,
that's not what we're saying.
Are we changing?
This is what Chris likes to do. He likes to create an entirely separate argument.
Up until you're 25, until you're 25, you're covered by your parents' insurance. So
you can be, yeah.
So why should the school have to? Hey, they got parents. Parents provide the insurance.
It's not the same situation remotely, dude. You're talking about those schools aren't making millions of dollars off of them. You're talking about these colleges. NCAA makes a shit ton of money off of all of their games, the bowl games, and they don't give shit back. So Steve's point is that at least they should give these kids medical coverage for the rest of their lives. You're making all this money. If we're not going to pay them, if you're not going to do these things, give them fucking medical at least, man. Something to show for sacrificing their bodies.
Pay them. You didn't say if you don't pay them.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. That was the whole point. Like,
he said,
you're either going to pay them or give them.
What about medical?
I said pay them. Yeah, or give them medical. For the rest
he said at least give them medical. That's what he was saying. Oh, Chris. It's all right. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to just chasing the dog's tail here for an hour because we know what's going on here. Let's get back to.
Yeah, I'm not going to cave. They don't fuck that, dude. They get enough, bro. People get enough handouts. You know, they don't need more.
Yes, Chris, we understand. Fuck the poor. Let them rot. We don't. Yeah. Well, yes. Rah.
Man, those are my neighbors. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm not asking them to rot.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, days of government's free speech is over, bro.
Wow.
Chris this is what when I talked about like you guys as kids and how you guys parent, this is the kind of shit why I'm so shocked that Chris is running a dictatorship, because I would have thought that he would just mercilessly beat his children and tell them to fucking pull themselves up by their bootstraps and you better think the way dad does or you're getting the fuck out of this house. But it's weird.
He should.
Goes to show, like, blood sometimes is thicker than water, right? Like, his stuff for his family. He'll take care of his kids, but if you ain't part of my family, you can burn in hell, you piece of shit. You'd be lucky if I piss on you while you're on fire.
Bro. That's pretty much it, bro. This is the circle of trust. If this is you over here, you're fucking out of it, bro.
Chris, yeah.
Just mercilessly pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Oh, that's fucking great, bro. Oh, fuck, dude, I'm fucking crying over here.
Wow. So everybody changing their picks for the NBA finals?
You guys haven't seen my kids all at one time, have you? You've never seen my kids all at one moment? You've never seen them all together at one moment. Usually,
no, I did. You had them at my house. I had to repair holes in my wall after you guys left.
Yeah, I bet.
One of them, there was a whole body imprint. Like one of them flew all the way in the wall. It was like an entire torso just caved in my sheetrock. I didn't even know what had happened until you guys left.
I don't even know.
That was a long time ago, though. That was like fucking. I don't know how old they were then, but I want to say that was like probably almost 10 years ago now.
It would have been probably 10, maybe. Yeah, about 10 years. 2010, 2011.
Yeah, now those motherfuckers would probably go through my wall. They wouldn't just dent the sheetrock. They'd just right through that shit like the Kool-Aid man.
Dude, one of them might have to duck to get through the door if you don't have a big enough door.
Yeah, you said he's 6'3"? He's
getting there, yeah. He's sad.
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's crazy, dude, to think about. Like like you said, bro, being as old as I am, right? I don't feel old. I mean, yeah, I look old, especially when I don't shave.
So especially when you put those glasses on.
Yeah,
with glasses on, right? But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, man, you see, your kids grow and how fast it happens, and 1 minute, I'm playing PlayStation with you two dudes at my house. The next minute, we're up at Kiwani's house with a fucking chicken coop and dogs, and the kids are excited like they're freed at a fucking, free ranch safari zoo. Go run with the freed animals. You know what I mean? They were in seventh heaven and shit.
Oh, God, now, I can't let my son do that.
Bro, now if you see them, you're going to be like, good Lord, who, they're both giants. from what I've, and when I see them, dude, to me, it's funny. I think of this all the time. When I see them, I still see that 10, 12-year-old in them. Sometimes that 6, 7, 8-year-old in them, right? You don't realize that, Nana's fucking drinking age coming up in September, Tone is 20 years old, AJ's graduating high school next week at 18.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, bro.
It's fucking crazy.
It fucking went quick, bro. Went quick.
Yeah.
A lot faster than I thought. This fucking train gets moving. It don't slow down for nobody.
Yeah, man. Seems to go faster every damn year, too. The time doesn't slow down. It speeds up.
I mean, dude, the time went so quick, I didn't have time to beat him.
Yeah. Now you can't. You're like, hey, these motherfuckers might whoop my ass. I can't beat them now. I already missed the boat on that.
Right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I can arm wrestle him anymore, especially AJ. I don't think I can arm wrestle AJ anymore.
Really?
Maybe.
I mean, you are old as fuck too, but yeah. Yeah. All right. So
I'm not yet, bro. Not
you're 50 as fuck, but yeah. Anyway, let's get back to some basketball here.
Okay. What you got?
Steve,
more
what were you going with? You were trying to ask a question there, and we got
sidetracked. I was just going to see if anybody's thoughts have changed on who they thought it was going to be in the NBA Finals and who was going to win. Have anything changed? Are we still looking Lakers, Nets?
Who are you guys picking to win? Since those are the two teams that we're probably all picking. You're picking Nets. Chris, you picking Nets?
Yes.
Okay, I would take the Lakers if the Lakers get there, if they get it all. The Lakers, though, I think can be knocked off early. And if it's not the Lakers, I don't know if I see any of these other teams being able to beat the Nets. But I do think the Lakers defensively and what they'd be able to do to them down low, and also the way the league lets LeBron dictate so much, I think they have a real shot to beat the Nets, and I would pick the Lakers.
Hey.
But I don't know that the Lakers get there. I think the Lakers are vulnerable to get knocked off before they get there. I think the longer they play together and get the wheels greased. I also think that the longer that it goes, that Vogel's going to have to admit that Drummond is not the best option to start for the team, and that he goes with Gasol because Gasol stretches the floor. He plays better defense. He's just a better fucking basketball player. And the sooner they get to that, the more and more dominant they'll become. So,
I mean, they seem pretty dominant having them bigs in there like that. That was
Drummond's
a big
garbage.
squad.
Drummond's garbage. The dude's not a good basketball player. He's a stat machine, but he's not good.
The game is moving away from players like him. With, if you can't extend beyond the free throw extended, you become more of a liability than you do a help, asset. And there's a lot of dudes that are falling into that category. But this is my feeling. Okay, so I think that at some point there's motivations that's going to drive these two teams. Okay, I think the Lakers may not get there. Their motivation may very well be, I've got Space Jam 3 coming out. We're going to go enjoy LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. But I can't
feel
say,
that's what they're thinking.
I don't feel like KD and James Harden especially is having any thoughts of red carpets at this point because of the burden that they carry upon their legacy, quote unquote. KD's got to go and supplant himself as, one of two of the greatest players of his generation by far by winning this title. And Harden's going to get his first, supplanting his legacy as one of the greatest scorers of his generation to a quote unquote, right? And I think that those motivations alone is going to drive that Nets team to basically win the championship, whether it's against the Lakers or not. I don't think it will be. I think that they're a little vulnerable, but it's hard to say, to bet against LeBron. But I do think that the Nets have far more motivation to win it, go all out, and do everything they have to, whether they want to admit it or not. The pressure is all on
everybody. They want their own. I mean, because to Kyrie, he's going to look like he had one without LeBron.
He didn't have one with LeBron. Yeah,
and then you got Durant's going to say he got one without the Golden State. And then Harden gets to say, I got one. Yep. Told you that.
I agree with all you guys are saying. The one thing I would say, the big Achilles heel to that team, obviously defensively, but just from another standpoint, the character of all three of those dudes, They are soft, petty little bitches. And when the going gets tough, how do they respond? We've seen how Harden responds when the going gets tough in the playoffs. The dude wilts like a fucking leaf on a 150-degree day. He ain't got it. I think they're primed to have some meltdowns in there. Shit starts going hard for that team. I could see them melting down, and I would love to see it.
I would too,
but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it'll happen sometime next year when they start talking about, well, whose team really is it? Who's really the guy? You know what I'm saying? I think that doesn't happen till after they win this chip. You know what I mean? Right. And then you become like the toast, and everybody's like, now people are now gassing each of them up. Who's the guy? Who's getting gassed up the most?
Yeah, and that's when you'll really see it. I agree with that. I think offensively they're too talented not to win. They've got enough bid and role players that can get hot and do things like the Joe Harris of the world. But you're spot on, Kiwani. All of them are mentally, I won't say weak, but they're unstable, right?
Yeah.
They're unstable to a sense. You've seen it even in last night's game, dude. When Fournier and Durant almost gets into it, and Durant goes walking by saying something, bro, and Fournier's like, man, shut up, bitch. Don't say shit to me.
Yeah, I saw that.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I saw that. He called him a bitch too. I like that.
Yeah,
but that's the thing about that team, though. They're all flash, no dog. It's like they need they're a team that needs a Marcus Smart. They got nobody on that team that's a dog.
I'm gonna say it, bro. A team needs to just basically if you want to beat the Nets, I feel like this. If you want to beat the Nets, you need to just go straight up 89 Pistons bad boys and start fucking clobbering the hell out of them.
Yep.
Right.
Send some motherfuckers out there to foul train out there to just hack people, man.
We are 12 deep. And you are going to feel every one of them, every single one of them, right? None of them are, dude. I don't see how many times you get this little slap foul and dudes stop because they hear the whistle and they let the guy finish the and one.
Yeah, I know.
Don't clobber the fucking shit out that dude in the ball in the hands. He's already hacked. You ain't finishing that shot.
It drives me nuts. That drives me nuts. The excuse me, I fucking Fitzgerald, the Warriors announcer. I can't stand that guy, but he loves to say the excuse me foul. He says it like 50 times a game. It is a thing you see where a dude is like half of excuse me and a halfway fouls them, and then they finish the fucking shot, and then they got a 3-point play. It's the worst foul in basketball. It's terrible. Worst play in basketball.
When you watch that same guy who got the excuse me foul, right? Who's a non-known player like a Jordan Poole, driving to the lane, get fucking bodied out the way and get thrown halfway around the court, and then you come down at the next end of the court and you call a little touch foul against him. I'm just like you got to be kidding me. Call the fucking game, man. That's the problem. You have to call the game, and if you're going to loosen it up for everybody, right? Yeah. Don't hold Caruso to a different standard than you're allowing LeBron to play with.
Yeah. Well,
right? You know damn well that you're going to.
Did you guys watch the Knicks Hawks game? Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, a little bit. I watched a little bit.
So they let them play physical that whole game.
Big time.
Super physical. And then all of a sudden, in the last 2 minutes of the game, anything if you get near Trae Young, it's a foul. You breathe on the dude. I mean, he just gets foul after foul. They free-throwed those guys right back into the game. And that, to me, I mean, for one, it was weird because you're in New York. The Knicks are a huge market. We've talked about this. Why would you want to do that? I didn't understand that officiating at all from any kind of, logical standpoint outside of this dude's got money, bet on the game or something. Because it was terrible. And that was one of those ones. That was the worst example of that, where you see they've officiated it one way the whole game, and then all of a sudden it's totally uneven. And that you can't do that, man.
Yeah. And the funny thing that you say about that, because I really do believe that happens far too often and far more often than people openly admit to, where it seems like the refs tend to get a team into the penalty a little bit early when they're really lagging in the fourth quarter, and it has the ability to close the gap. Right, because I just watched it last night because they did it for the Celtics, because they would have got ran out the fucking door by 40 if they'd have called that game the same way they were in the first quarter.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's
see it time and time again. I know.
They to keep it from being these excessive blowouts, because like we spoke about long before, right? The league is too fucking big. It's too watered down. Some of these teams have no business being on the court with some of these other teams. And when you see that, it shows. And when you lose one player, let alone two, it shows, right? Nobody has transcendent players like Steph Curry who can take a bunch of, D-League style players and turn them into a competitive competitive 15 game over 500 basketball team. You don't. Everybody has that. Yeah. Right? You lose one of these guys in some of these small markets, it's over, right? Yeah. It's over. And you can see it, the separation on the court, the West, probably not as much, but in the East, dude, these games, you could have just started at the second round, bro. Well, even as a Celtic fan, I started the second round. There's, right? Hey, Tatum, you got a bad, your head really hurts, right, bro? We're going to sit you out, bro. It's cool. Don't trip. We understand what's happening this year.
I mean, you're gonna see it in the West too, because you take the start. Look at what's gonna happen to OKC. Look what happened to fucking Houston once they lost Harden. Once you pull that one star off of that team, they are no longer competitive.
Let me ask this: who did they have other than Harden?
That's my point, though.
Eric Gordon.
Hold on.
They've always
hold on. I want to hear Kiwani's on this because
Harden somebody to play with. He didn't do it by himself.
If you go and look at the list of who Houston had over the last 5 or 6 years and who they've ended up with now, you look at who they parlayed into who, it is astounding. You've had Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, obviously James Harden. You've had Clint Capella, also gone now, who's a solid fucking center, a good player for Atlanta. He's been a beast, man. They got Wood. They have John Wall that has come through there.
PJ Tucker.
John Wall came in. John Wall wasn't there with him.
He just got there this year. I'm just saying these are the players they've had over the past 5 to 6 years.
Yes, but not with Harden.
Victor Oladipo. He wasn't with. He was at the beginning of this year. Harden was there with him at the beginning of this year.
Oh, when Harden
before the trade.
When he pulled his stunt.
Yeah, pulled his stunt and wouldn't play. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the list in front of me, but I just saw it. And it's an astounding list.
There's a lot of players.
They had a lot of players there.
Let me ask you this. How many times was there 3 of them together, right? Or was it 2? It was usually, to me, it was always Harden, maybe Chris Paul and Eric Gordon, or Harden, somebody else, and then they had Eric Gordon. And then they had Clint Capella when he was young, not what he is today or the last, because they traded
him last year.
But and I don't disagree. Houston has had talent, but like Steve said, when you pull the plug on the one real star, because let's be real, the one real star you had there was Harden. When you pulled the plug on that, the franchise falls apart.
They chose to play. There was a piece that Kobe Bryant did before he passed away. R.I.P. Kobe. On the Warriors against the Cavs at the time, and he called it the democracy versus the dictatorship, the golden democracy versus the monarchy, rather. And the King James on one side, and the way they ran that team, and the Warriors ran their team like a democracy. And I thought it was a real good analogy, and it holds true for how Houston played. It's not that they didn't have good players. It's that the way they chose to play was you had the king in James Harden, and all the subjects needed to play a certain role around him. So I think it's unfair to say to those players that they didn't have players. It was the system that they chose to play. They wanted, you hated seeing your boy Kemba pound the rock into the ground. There's nobody that's ever been worse than that than James Harden with the Rockets.
James Harden still is
pounding the rock into the 17 seconds of the shot clock, and then he would kick someone out to the 3, try to draw off the defense in, and you had to stand there at the 3-point line and wait to shoot your shot. And that's how they chose to play. So,
and Houston's done that now twice as an organization, because they did the same style of thing when they had Hakeem down low. They would dump it into him, and he would dump it out to 3-point shooters. If you remember, that's the offense they ran. So this is the second time they've committed to running it from
a monarchy.
In a monarchy kind of way, but they didn't put the right pieces around him. But that's a great analogy to have it done like that. You did to say it like that, a dictator or a monarchy over a democracy, to a sense, because
it's a perfect analogy. Yeah. I mean, the Warriors played the democracy, the Spurs played the democracy style of game. And then you have the teams like the LeBron teams, the Harden teams, they're monarchies, man. Yeah, it's all about this one dude running the show, and everyone else, all the subjects around him, filling their role.
Yeah. So are you saying that LeBron is Cersei and AD is his mountain?
That's
his personal mountain.
Pretty much, right? That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, that's a real good analogy.
Hey, Glenn, how do you feel about Trae Young?
I don't like Trae Young. I don't like the way he plays.
Thank you. I'm another one. Thank you.
I think he's
am I the only one that
play, bro?
I just don't like him, man. He irritates me.
I don't like his style of play, and I think the officials babysit that dude. It's like the end of the Knicks game I was talking about, where he gets calls. He gets way more calls than Steph Curry. How the fuck does this dude get way more calls than Steph Curry? He's a foul-baiting little bitch.
Stop comparing him to Steph Curry, which everybody wants to do. Okay,
all right?
And everybody is foul baiting in the NBA. Let's not pretend like they don't.
Like
everybody
is. There's certain dudes who are their whole game is tailored around it.
But here's the thing, right? When you take off the glasses, you can't deny that the kid is not talented and that his game doesn't work really well in today's NBA. It's like saying that Luka's not a good player. He is a good player. Trae is a good player, right? Maybe you don't like him. You may not like his style of game, but his game translates to the NBA extremely well, and it's beginning to show.
Okay, so where do you rank Trae Young in like a players under 25 category? Like, if you're a team looking to create a franchise, where do you draft Trae Young at?
I mean, not in the top 5. I mean, I can think of a handful of
top
wins
10?
that I'd much rather have.
This is my point.
If you ask questions like this, you've got to give me a chance to do some research. I mean, I'm just
trying to make a point, though, that where he's elevated to what me and Steve are saying is that where people are ranking him, how they talk about Trae Young versus where we rank him at are vastly different. I don't know if he's even in my top 10 of young players that I would take to build a team. And they're talking about him as like the future of the NBA. And that's at least my point when I talk about him. I don't like him. I don't think he's the future of the NBA. I think that's what Steve's saying too, right, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's trash, but
No,
why don't you stop fighting his fight and doing his debate, Kiwani?
First of all,
I agree with that.
Obviously, what are you guys swapping notes?
I was saying the same shit to you to him earlier, Kawani. The same shit you're saying, I was just talking to him about earlier.
Logic's logic. When you use logic, you come to the same point.
You can say what you want, dude, but the fact that they are tailoring it to him, right? I mean, this is the thing, right? It's like if you're going to try to compare him to Steph Curry, he's going to fail, right? But are you going to take Trae Young over Terry Rozier? Fuck yeah, you are.
Probably.
Yeah, you are. Come on, bro.
Depends on the team you have around them. It depends on what other players in the game.
Come on, bro.
The Warriors, I'll take Terry Rozier for the Warriors.
Because you got Steph Curry, Steve.
That's right. That's the point we're making. Depends on the roster you have around him, right? I mean,
come on, bro. You said under 25 that you're starting a roster with, right?
Yeah,
you got the 15th
Terry
pick.
Rozier plays defense.
You get the 15th pick, bro.
He plays defense.
You get the 15th pick in the draft.
15th pick.
15th pick. And you're telling me that if you're looking at Terry Rozier and you're looking at fucking Trae Young.
How old is Lonzo? He's like.
It's your starting point.
You're okay. Wait, hold on. Now this is a good. Hold on, Chris, because I'm going to disagree with Steve here. Now, are you saying you would take Lonzo Ball over Trae Young? Are you saying that?
That's what he just said.
For what kind of team?
I don't care what team it is. That one, I don't. I don't like Lonzo on that level.
Come on, bro.
I think Lonzo's pretty good. I thought he would be 15th.
Come on, bro. If you'd have said LaMelo,
LaMelo,
you might have had
LaMelo's higher.
Yeah, definitely. I would take LaMelo.
You said Lonzo.
I got him.
Yeah.
Under 20.
I definitely take Trae Young over Lonzo. There's no question.
Trae Young is not a bad player, bro. Sure. Does he fit what you want? Maybe not, right? But you guys are also comparing him to pretty much the greatest small guy running around.
I'm not. We're not. I only said I was just comparing it from a foul situation. He gets more calls than Steph. That's the only reason I compare him. But I don't think they're not comparable at all. Yeah, I mean, he's not remotely on Steph's level. I mean, I also think he came in same draft as Luka, right? Where do you rank Luka versus where do you rank
I would take Luka over him.
Right.
I would have in that draft. I'd have taken Luka first overall. Luka was first overall in that draft. If you did any real research, it just that a lot of guys don't trust the overseas player, and so organizations will stick with the Americans over them. And this was one of the few instances where everybody said you don't do that. This kid is legit. He's legit. He fits what you do. He was
playing with the pros in Europe at like 15 years old, 15,
bro, and balling, bro. He was dicking him. He was dicking him. He was like the MVP of the league at 17, 18 years old.
Yeah,
he was.
But when we're talking about like, what do you think? I don't like Luka. He's a good player. I don't like him though. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like his game. I feel the same way about Trae Young. I think he's a way better player than Trae Young, but they both engaged. Like, play hoop, man. Stop with this foul baiting bullshit. I can't stand that.
Everybody does it, dude. That's what the league is all about.
You try to get you try to draw some contact if you can, but when your whole movements and stuff is set up to try to get contact instead of make a bucket, you're not playing the game of basketball anymore.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game for all of about 3 minutes, and one of the plays is James Harden. Bullshit. Dude, I was just about to say he did it last night. He did the exact thing that you're talking about.
A little bit. He did, but not at the level he used to do.
He does his little half a euro step and he leans into Aaron Nesmith, Aaron Nesmith, and then he dumps in his little fucking shot. He makes it, gets the call, and he does a little.
What's that?
Bro, come on, man. Come on, bro. He baits like you see it, ref. You see it. You see he just baited you and won and got it. And you know what I mean? Right. And you're rewarding him for it. It's like Kawani said 2 podcasts ago, bro. This foul baiting shit's got to stop and rewarding these guys. If these guys are as great as they are, they don't need this foul baiting bullshit help that they're constantly getting. You're rewarding guys for bad play. He initiated it. He jumped into the defender. All that. If you want to call it a no call in the playoffs, I'm good with it. But by the letter of the law, he went into his space and initiated the contact. That's an offensive fucking foul. But they don't call that because that's Harden versus Nesmith. Now, if Nesmith did that to Harden, you best believe it's going the other way. And that's why the NBA is extremely hard to fucking watch because you can just see the discrepancy in how they're calling the game. Dude, they don't call travel. They don't call carry. It's like we don't want to. We're just gonna stay out the way until it's time for us to keep the game close or favor a player. That's how I feel the refs are.
I'll be right back. I gotta move spots. Christina's trying to put the baby down, so I'll be back in like a minute.
Everything, and I'll tell you what's hella crazy, dude. This is what's hella crazy, right? Is when you watch this happen, right? These guys like LeBron and stuff like that. That's why they create this false drama and stuff like that to kind of get this narrative of giving us the call ahead of. It's frustrating, bro. It is frustrating.
I understand.
Watching the game today is a super frustrating thing for, old school guys like me, where I believe in playoff fouls. It's okay to be the Pistons and the Knicks, right? But you know why? You know why it's okay to be the Pistons and the Knicks? Because eventually some dude like Jordan is going to show up and raise up and say that that's still not good enough, right? It's just like in the NFL, bro, when they're opening the game up so much that you're now talking about guys like Phillip Rivers in the same breath as fucking Dan Marino. You know what I mean? Like, just stop it, bro. Like, just stop it. The game is so different now. To think that because an Andrew Wiggins averages 24 points in a season, that makes him a quality player. Come on, man.
It's quality for our team. I think that's
quality. I would say quality, yes, but dude, he in a $30 million quality piece, bro.
Okay,
Maserati.
I'm just talking about what he's doing on the team, and as a player. But I'm just saying,
dude, that he's a good fit though. In today's day and age, though, Steve, the offense is king. Tell me that's not the case. Is offense king in all sports?
He's fine. It's not about his offense, though. You know what I mean?
I'm not even talking about Wiggins no more. We're talking about the fact that the game is now tailored to make a lot of these players of today's age look more offensively gifted than they really are.
Right.
I believe that. Right. The game is now tailored for offense in football, baseball, basketball. Doesn't matter. And since it's all tailored in that direction, we're seeing inflations of numbers and of players' reputations and who they really are. You know what I mean? I mean, again, if you allow real defense in the playoffs with real hard fouls and dude, it's going to change how you feel about some of these teams and their capabilities of winning these series, right?
That's how I feel about the Nets, though. The Nets are a team like that. I feel like they're soft, and I feel like if they let someone play physical against them, that's a different deal. And I just wish there was consistency. I'm okay with them calling the game tighter in the regular season and loosening it up in the playoffs, but be consistent with it. Because some of these playoff games, they're letting people play physical, and then other ones or other times in the game, you breathe on the dude and it's a foul. And Harden's like you're talking about, foul baiting and getting calls. It's bullshit. That irks the fuck out of me.
And I tell you, and I feel like too, they sit there and they want to call certain series or games a certain way. So when the Knicks play, they want to call it rough and tumble. You know what I mean? Because that's how they play, right? Because if they call it a way that they would say a Warrior, Blazer game, those fucking dudes are going to foul out within the first half. You know what I'm saying? So now you've gone in and you've established that you have to call this game kind of a certain way to begin with because of the team, because you've allowed it to manifest to this point through the regular season on how because you weren't consistent.
You allow these teams to play.
Right, because you weren't consistent. And so now all of a sudden, you're calling these certain favored teams their favored way to a sense. So
would you say that again? You saw that when Harden played in Houston, the way they would call those fouls.
Oh, dude, it's crazy, man.
But it's not the same. But look, I remember when Chris Paul used to do that. Remember, you guard like the first thing he'd do, swing his arms up and do that flail up.
He learned it from Harden, bro. Yeah, dude, they were doing it, bro. Dude, I tell you, that's what's so funny about that is, as you guys very well know, I'm not a Warrior fan. But, dude, that's what makes that team so fucking special, bros. They've done none of that, in my opinion. They are not a foul baiting team. They literally went out and lit the league up because they were the most skilled players on the planet as a team, as a unit, right? To the point to where the second best player, to where the second best player in the world said, I want to go play with them. They're so good, I want to go play with them.
Well, yeah, third best.
They were unfriggin'
he wanted to come play with the second best player in the world at the time. But I get what you're saying.
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think that Curry's a better player than Kevin Durant, and I actually don't think it's that close. I think Kevin Durant has crazier. He's a cheat code in his physical gifts. But if I'm building a team, he's a cheat code. But if I'm building a team, if I'm a GM and I'm building a team, who am I picking? Number one right now, the first player I pick is Steph Curry. And I don't think it's even very close. I mean, LeBron's the other player you could say, but Kevin Durant to me, I might not even pick him top 5. He's a great piece to have with somebody else, but has he ever really been the second best player this whole time? Has he?
I mean, and I would even, dude, come on, bro. Come on, dude.
What?
Kevin Durant, like you said, is a cheat code. When he's on the court, bro,
it's a cheat
very few players match that dude's offensive.
Yeah, if he's on the court, he's
criminal. It's criminal how pure that dude can be at times with shooting the ball, bro. It's criminal.
Great player on the court, but more that goes into just the court.
There's more to it.
Yes.
And that's what and I've said that I'm a firm believer that the intangibles separate the great players from the really, really good players.
And that's what separates Steph.
And I think that's where Steph, dude, it's pretty spectacular to see what that dude has done and gone through and the transformation and the imprint that he's left on the league. He's been by far the most influential player the league has had in the last 10 years. Nobody has had more influence on the league in the last 10 years than him.
I actually think that he's had more influence on the league since Michael Jordan. You look at how he's changed the game. And I say that not that he's been the best player since then, but just the impact of the way his style of play has impacted how basketball games are played by everybody. The analytics, everything has shifted. It used to be you didn't want players to shoot. Right. And now it's like,
bad 3-pointers. Like you got a dude standing under the basket, like wide open, and they're still chucking up a triple cover 3.
On a fast break, you got a dude with a dunk and they pull up from 3. And it's not considered a bad shot necessarily
and what's
anymore
bad is
either.
This is what's bad is because they watched the Warriors doing all this, and it was Splash City, and they're just like, we need to do it too. But you aren't that team,
you're not
bro.
Steph
Stop
and Clay.
doing it, bro.
All you hear is clank.
Dude, yes. It's Brick City, bro. Not
the league
City.
is starting to catch up. I mean, you've seen some teams this year that are trying to shoot like 53s a game, like Utah, and they can shoot, man. Some of these teams can shoot.
Teams are starting to build the roster correctly.
Three makes
right?
sense.
Well, I mean, okay. You can say that that's true, but is a bad 3 over an easy 2 really a better shot?
No.
If you're not right percentage-wise, right?
Well, it depends on what your percentage is.
I think in today's day and age too, that the game is so far pulled away that if you get anybody that's half skilled from the free throw line extended in, that you can dump the ball into and go one-on-one to the basket, if they're really D'ing you up on the perimeter, why not take the easy 2?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and I think teams are starting to pull away from that.
If you got a guy that's 80, 90% down there, then that's better than being 30, 40% from the 3.
Yeah, but if you're shooting 55% from 2 and you're shooting 40% from 3, it's better to be taking the 3-point shot, which is right where that's
where they're at. But not everybody's shooting 40%.
Or 80%.
That's the point. Yeah,
most teams are barely 30.
Yeah, if you got DeAndre Ayton down there going 10 of 11 down low, and then you got Wiggins out there shooting 37%, you take the 2-pointer, man. Every time down the court, you take
it's like, and I feel like teams when you watch, dude, how many bad times do you see guys pulling up 3-pointers? I mean, like they're passing up fucking bunnies to kick it out to the 3-point line. Like, dude, just take the bucket, bro. Just take the bucket. Right. And, the more buckets you put in, the more likely you have a chance at winning. It don't matter if it's a 2, 3, or 1.
Yeah.
Put the biscuit in the basket.
I do feel like that's an area where the Nets excel at. They'll take whatever. They're so dynamic, and they'll take whatever. You got Joe Harris that sits out there at the 3-point line, but otherwise KD, Harden, and Kyrie will all get you in the mid-range or take you to the rack. And that's what makes them so dangerous offensively versus some of these teams that just play this.
It's all about biscuits, man. It's
and the fact that they can all shoot 3.
Right. Yeah, so it opens it all up for them too. Yeah. It's all
too. Well, the 3 of them all can. Not every threesome
and
in the NBA
you can't double.
Right.
Like that was the thing. Right? Like you can't double. You can't
because
double
right now you can't even say that your threesome. That you have a threesome that can compare with those 3 shooting wise, and you have the 2 greatest shooting backcourt ever.
No,
right? I mean, because nobody else on your team can compare to their third guy. The other 2 shoot 3s well enough. Harden and Durant on the Nets shoot 3s well enough to keep up with Curry and Clay, but it's the third guy that begins to separate.
You know what? And that's why I said when I said we get Clay back, we'll be competing for a Western Conference Finals. My thing is for a championship.
I can't wait.
I agree with a trade and needing to add like some major pieces to really win a chip, to say that we can really get on their heads. I think we do need another piece, or Wiggins, or let's just say
Clay back is getting another piece, bro. Getting Clay back is another piece, dude.
It's a major piece. But and that's
why I say, well, what Klay Thompson are you getting? It's been 2 years since the dude played, man.
Right.
He's had two drastic injuries. I mean, the Achilles is even more major than the first one. And so what I do think I agree with you. Clay's going to be able to get to his spots and get the ball from Steph and hit his spot up 3-point shots. He's going to be able to do that. But Clay was a two-way. He was probably the best two-way guard in the league at the time.
Yes.
His defense was amazing. He was in the finals. He was D'ing up LeBron. He's incredibly strong base. I don't know if all that's going to be there anymore.
Able to trade for when I was like, oh, the dynasty's done. Maybe we can get Chris, Clay in Boston.
I know. It's like every great player we come up with, you've wanted on the Celtics. I get it. The thing is, Chris, it
works for Robert Parrish. It works for Robert Parrish, bro. We were able to get Robert Parrish.
Clay. I'll tell you what. If Clay leaves the Warriors, there's one place he's going to go, and that's to the Lakers. That's the only team he leaves the Warriors.
And I hope that
he wants to be. He wants to be a Warrior. Clay's one of them dudes.
Dude. They need to finish the here. No, I mean, I love Draymond, and I said it. Draymond's kind of the soul of the team in a way, right? But man, Clay and Steph have to. Those dudes.
You get a statue of all three of them. They'll have like a statue of three of them right there.
Yeah.
The dudes can fucking just finish up and retire.
If they want to play till they're 50, you let them, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, dude, what they've done in the Bay Area with the Warriors, dude, is from me being a basketball fan my whole life, seeing how
it made them relevant
franchises. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. Certain franchises are the franchise, the Lakers and the Celtics. You know, players go to there, right? Man, people wouldn't rush into the Warriors, bro. They were a laughing stock, right? But they were selling out. Crowds was loud. It was amazing, right? Run TMC. I mean, we have legends on fucking mediocre basketball teams here in the Bay Area, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then the next thing you know, they show up, right? They first of all, they're clowning getting Steph Curry in the draft, you know, a little scrawny dude. What's Don Nelson thinking, right? Then he's got bad ankles for a couple of seasons. You know, well, you just brought in Steph Curry. Now you're bringing in this Klay Thompson. How much sense does this make that they're doing out there? Well, man, it's a lot of sense, bro.
Hey, bro, I'm going to tell you something. It was funny because I remember that season because that was the second year we were going to the games, and Monte had got hurt. And so all we really had was Klay Thompson as a rookie, and he was fucking scoring. He was amazing. And you're like, bro, this dude can put the ball in.
Dude, he was
bucket.
Good coming. Where did he come from?
Washington State, wow, right? We got something with this guy.
Yeah, I think it was Washington State. That sounds right.
He was playing there, bro. When the first time I seen him, I was like, this dude's got the prettiest jumper I've seen in a while.
Bro, he came in scoring as a rookie.
Steph's the best shooter in history, but if you're going to teach your kid how to shoot a basketball, you show him Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson has the prettiest shot I've ever seen, man. And his quick release, and that's why when you get him the ball, he's in his spots out there. You can hit him. He's going to get that shot off money so often. That's why getting him back is a huge advantage for the team, even if he's not as good defensively.
He'll still be a good spot up three. He'll still be
I think that's the one thing that I will give you guys with your Wiggins want to stay is because he doesn't have to. He alleviates the pressure of being the defensive guy that Klay was.
That's right.
Because I really think that Klay's going to struggle on that end of the court, even though in today's day and age you don't have to be a lockdown defender anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
if you're not going to, though, we've got to put up more points then. The claim to fame
with him, Warriors, I think that's the thing. With him, you will.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll say this: I'm hoping Klay comes back because look, in today's NBA, there's a lot of switching. So, hell, if you got the best fucking player on you, you'll just call up the guy you. Didn't they do that? Luka did that to Pat Beverly every time he got the ball, got switched, got on Pat Beverly, and just fucking took it to the rack in the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
he's not on you now, but we can make that switch
every time, bro.
I don't understand.
That's what I was telling you guys about some of these teams, though. Like in the playoffs, the Sixers or the Utah with Rudy Gobert. That's all they're going to do is get the switch to the big man out there and cook him, man. And that's why I don't give those teams a chance because their centers are such a big part of their game that in the playoffs they're going to do that over and over. That's today's game.
First game against the Jazz, bro. I was sitting there laughing. I was like, Kiwani basically point blank said they were going to do this to Gobert, and he wasn't even on the court for the last 2 minutes of the game.
It's a liability, and you're giving this guy defensive player of the year.
Yeah, and you're going to pay this dude. You're going to pay this dude $36 million a year, or $50 million a year, whatever it is, because he's your number one guy, and he's not on the court the last 2 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Come on, bro. And not in foul trouble.
Yeah. Because he's a liability, that's why.
Yes.
And that
the game has changed, dude. The game has changed.
Because 15 years ago, a Gobert would have been
Because I'm going to say this. The one thing that so I know that right now I'm going to use a little my gravitas, okay? Right now in Boston, people are fucking talking about Brad Stevens' head on a pike, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are nuts because in a lot of ways, it's Brad Stevens and this new mindset that thinks that if you've got a bunch of dudes between the sizes of 6'8" and 6'10", if you could put 5 guys out there that can switch everything and shoot, that's the basketball team today.
Unbeatable right now if you can put that together. If you can figure out a way to put together a roster like that.
Yes, it's unbeatable, especially if you got good enough guys who rebound.
6'9" to 6'10" at every position, and they just switch everything and they can shoot. It's unbeatable in today's the way the game is officiated now and played.
Even if you went with from 6'6" to 6'10", if you went 6'6" to 6'10" in those 4 inches, if you had 7 guys who were all that high and could shoot, defend and rebound, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over
because
you can switch anything. You're not going to get killed on the offensive boards. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, and you see when you have dudes who are built like that, their help defense, like you've seen KD's help defense and LeBron's help defense, guys like that are excellent at that. So even if little fucking Kemba pounds the ball and gets past your 6'6" guy, there's a lot of quick help coming. A lot of quick help. You know what I mean? And that's an area. That's where it's going.
That's my claim to fame with Draymond Green as being the best defender in the league, and I don't think it's even close because of help defense and his ability to play every single position. You can say, okay, Ben Simmons can D up 1 through 5. True, but if you watch Ben Simmons' help defense, it's atrocious. He's not a good help defender. He's a good on-ball defender, and there's a lot of different aspects to being a defender. Rudy Gobert, great rim protector, but if you want him to come out on a guard and guard him, he can't fucking guard him. And so there's one guy to me that does all that stuff, and he makes everybody around him better, and it's Draymond Green. He should get Defensive Player of the Year every fucking year, and I don't even think it's close, man, because of all those things we just mentioned.
Yeah, it's astonishing, bro, because again, if you've noticed, a lot of the Defensive Players of the Year have you generally either gone to a center, right?
Yeah.
Or a player that I mean, who was it? It was Michael and Scotty for a long time, right? You know what I mean? It wasn't, dude. After that, bro, start naming some of these wing defenders that was getting Players of the Year, Defensive Players of the Years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only maybe did Kobe get it? Maybe a couple times. And probably not, because again, dudes like him, they hate giving dudes like that awards because they figure he's getting Finals MVP and regular
MVP.
Kawhi
get it? Kawhi got it in 1 year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. So I mean,
you're right. I mean, it's
those are fucking big guys, bro. It's a big guy fucking award. It feels like, and right now the big guy is the most irrelevant player in basketball. I'm sorry, James Wiseman. I'm sorry, bro, but if you don't develop an outside game, it's gonna move. It's gonna move fast, bro. It's gonna move fast.
You can be a Giannis. Giannis is a good comp for Wiseman physically when you look at him. But Giannis's lateral movement and his defense is incrable. He's a guy that can guard 1 through 5. Wiseman can't do that. So if he can learn,
it's a big jacket to put on that young kid, bro. Just be like Giannis.
But I think that's his lane. That's where if he's going to be a real successful elite player, he's going to be a Giannis type of player. That's where his lane is.
He better hit the tires and the spark hurdles. I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get them feet moving, kid. Get the feet moving. Because it's going to be needed, especially with that team, because every team that's going to play against them, and we're assuming he's with the Warriors, is going to be playing catch-up ball, which means there's going to be a lot of action behind the three-point line, which means a lot of switching, which means a lot of closeout, which means you're going to have to move.
Yep.
I mean, the game to me, it's funny because if you really think about it, right, the NBA game has kind of gone high school basketball. If you can get the 5 biggest, most athletic dudes in high school basketball, odds are you're going to win a lot of basketball games. You don't need to have the greatest skilled guys because they're just bigger, athletic, and can rebound, and in a lot of ways, that's where the NBA is going, because you've got athletes that can defend and can rebound, right? Once they develop the skill aspect of it, of shooting, right? These dudes, it's just a whole different, level of player that can be out there if you have 5 guys who are all the exact same, 5 Kawhis, 5 LeBrons, right? The one thing you can't have is you can't have 5 Currys.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You can't have 5 Currys. You can't have 5 Embiids. You can't have 5. You got to have these guys that can.
Well, and I don't think you can have 5 Lukas either. I don't think will work. Maybe it might, but I think they get exposed in a lot of ways too because of the lateral quickness and footwork that he doesn't really have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at least size-wise, he's a guy that can D up, most positions on the court. But you can put together a really nice roster with 5 guys that are just totally interchangeable, that are almost positionless. Everyone's just positionless basketball, man. And I think, we can go through the league and you could pick Kawhi, obviously, would be one of the top ones you'd have on there. You could have, your guys in Boston, both of them dudes are great positionless type of players.
Look,
LaMelo's a dude because he's big too, man. LaMelo's one of those
bigger than I think a lot of people think. I think people view
he's like
LaMelo as
6'9", isn't he?
I thought he was like 6'4", 6'5".
No. He's at least 6'7". Let me look. He's big, dude.
because I think people think of him as like 6'3", 6'4".
6'6".
Yeah, see, I thought he was like 6'5", somewhere around there. Yeah, for some reason I think people think of him as like 6'2", some little small dude. And
he's not, big, dude, and he's long too. His wingspan is long too.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I think you can put together a roster that would be really, really tough for anybody to beat with a standard type of NBA roster by doing the positionless basketball.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's headed to a sense, man. If you can get the assets in and committed in the right system, bro, you could do damage, I think, right away. Because there's a part of me that kind of feels like, in a way, the Miami Heat have somewhat kind of gone in a route like that, where they all have, same size and right? They're just not super skilled, bro. They're sneaky at that.
Hold on. I'm glad you brought up the Miami Heat. This is something I actually wanted to talk about on a number of different levels. One of them is the bubble playoffs last year. After watching games with fans back in the stands now, does that shit even count? Like, it just seems like such a different vibe. Miami is not remotely the same team that they were in the bubble with fans in the stands.
That's right.
I feel like it doesn't really count. The next thing I want to say on Miami ties into that too is that I think that caused them to overvalue players on their team who were basically playing Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Man, they wouldn't trade. We're not going to include Tyler Hero in a trade package for James Harden. I mean, what? Are you guys fucking mentally retarded? Look at that. Like, how bad does that look right now? It's astounding.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, it's funny how when I think that happens a lot, that people overvalue their own guys, right? Like I'll tell you one guy I think that Danny Ainge is overvalued is the kid Romeo Langford. I think the kid Aaron Nesmith has come in and played way better than him on a rookie deal.
Yeah, I
mean, Pritchard is a better player than
Langford. There was multiple times in games I've seen you guys. I'm like, this dude is fucking garbage. And then he'll do something good. Man. But there's times like stretches in the game where you're like, God, he's fucking terrible.
Yep. And Danny Ainge could have probably allegedly there was rumors that he could have offered Romeo and a first rounder or whatever for Oladipo when he got to Houston, and he wouldn't do it. He didn't want to give up that, because he views Romeo Langford as some kind of an asset. I'm like,
reminds me of the Warriors with Smiley. I mean, what is the deal with Smiley? Oh my God, that drives me fucking nuts. How is that dude on a roster right now?
These dudes are not 3-and-Ds, bro. They are B-and-Ds. They are brick and defenders.
I don't even know that Smiley should be in the G League. Like, he is fucking terrible, bro.
Why do we have these dudes on our team?
I think sometimes, bro, you got to have dudes in roster spots, 11, 12, and 13 that can run opposing offenses and get guys into certain sets so you can establish defense.
Smiley doesn't even know where he's supposed to be on the court. If you watch tape of him, he's
he plays on the wandering around. He plays on the B squad all the time, dude.
He doesn't know what he's doing. The Warriors gave up 2 second-round picks for him, and they refused to admit they're wrong about it. We should have got rid of him. Marquise Chris. We got rid of Marquise Chris. I would much rather have Marquise Chris than Smiley on the roster, and it ain't even close, man.
Dude, I would take Marquise. Yeah, but
I like Marquise Chris.
I don't know, man. I'm just some of the stuff just is mind-boggling to me.
Going back to Miami, I was trying to bring up though, like they just got the doors blown off them by Milwaukee, a team that they kind of beasted last year, and it's just like, I mean, I know they added Drew Holiday, and I think Milwauke's a much better team than they were last year. But does that series go the same way if it's not in the bubble last year? I don't know that it does. I
don't think it does either. I don't know. That Miami team was straight up the bubble. They were the team of the bubble, quote unquote. Yeah. It's just like let's be real. I mean, if the Lakers don't really, get to the finals this year, how do you really look at their little bubble championship?
I think that's a very good question. I really hope they don't, because
LeBron, the great Laker now, right? I mean, because he's won a championship in the bubble, right?
Championship,
not quite the same, kid. You know what I mean? And I was saying that already. But yeah, I
the Disney World Championship, the Disney team. I love this. The best thing to come out of adolescent Twitter is Le Mickey and A Disney is the nickname for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And it's the perfect because they got that fucking bubblegum Disney World Championship down there, and they're in LA over here. If they don't get one, like you said, if they don't get the title this year or at least make it to the finals, I think you got any real fan puts a big asterisk by that. That's the Disney championship right there, but
yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, bro. It's like if it's like when it was like last year, if a dude batted 400 last year in whatever how many games they played, a race to 100 or whatever it was, bro.
Yeah.
Are you taking that as a 400 season?
Don't count. Don't
count. They don't count. You know what I mean? Right? It's just like, dude, I mean, it's like we were talking about the fantasy aspects of the 17 game schedule, but dude, look at the record books, bro. Right? We're about to see Emmett's thing fall. We're probably going to see people coming close to Jerry. You can tell me that any of these receivers these days are even remotely close to that dude as a player?
Nah, I know. Well, and this is going to throw that, and that's a problem. And they're going to use these as arguments. Like you've said this a lot, latest is the greatest, right? And all of these things are going to go into basically knocking down a peg all these dudes who were really great in the past. And they'll kind of get forgotten by time because of that, because people will go back and look at the stats who never saw them play and be like, these dudes couldn't hold these guys today's jockstrap.
Right.
And the game
Johnny
is
Unitas.
different. Yeah. It's
Johnny
disappointing.
You.
It's sad, man. I mean,
Johnny Manziel over Johnny U. Right? That's what these fucking kids would say. Dumb shit.
It's ridiculous. And you look at how the game is reffed nowadays too. The receiving numbers, all these things are so far inflated over. Like as a Cowboys fan and Steve as a Niner fan, both of you guys should be irked by that, because what you guys did, your teams did in a different era was amazing. Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, the numbers those guys put up and what they did is way more impressive to me than any of the stuff that these people have done over the past 10 years.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel too. That's why my arguments are kind of as hard-lined as they are, right? But I don't, I like, it's like my Phillip Rivers is just a guy comment, right? I like Phillip, bro. I do. But dude, he's a product now of this generation of favoring the offense. And I got to hear kids tell me that this guy is better than a Dan Marino because
that's ridiculous. That's absurd.
But dude,
that's so dumb.
But here's the thing. People under 35, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't tell me that you really believe that.
That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, there's no doubt.
Now you're adding a 17th game, right? Now now Eric Dickerson's 2,000-yard season is going to really be in jeopardy more times than it should. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to go by the wayside. I mean, the only thing that'll kind of save that is that there's not as many bell cow backs as there used to be. But I still think like 2,000 yards is going to become one of those things that somebody does every couple of years now.
Right.
They'll be
you have a guy get like
the running game.
Yeah. You have a guy you'll have two in one season from 1 year. You have two guys doing it in 1 year.
Wait a minute. How many games did OJ do? Did OJ do it in 14?
14 games.
I think 14, yeah. Really impressive.
OJ did it in 14.
Yeah, OJ was a hell of a player. I mean, the problem OJ is that he damn near decapitated his ex-wife. So all of this stuff will be forgotten by time. I mean, he's just a horrific human being, but a hell of a football player, right? I mean,
hey, I only judge people by what they do between the lines, generally speaking.
Generally
speaking. Right?
I'm only going with that part.
Right? I mean, to each his own, bro. If you want to cut,
but that's the problem with OJ is that you can't really bring up his stats, though. Like it's a taboo thing to even really say his name.
I'll say it, bro.
Mainstream stuff. We will, but mainstream ESPN, they're not going to want to talk about what OJ did ever.
About that, bro. Yeah, I mean, and the fact is that dude, that might be the second greatest running back season ever behind.
They're not going to want to talk about what OJ did ever.
Hey, Steve put us on TV.
Steve don't want to participate again. He's done with us.
He's chipping it up. He's smoking it up.
He's done with us now.
He's TVing it up. He's like, we're going into the second hour.
Good.
Right? How are we going to handle a 3-hour radio show with this dude munching, crunching, snorting and sneezing, and playing the TV in the background?
Well, I figured I'd wait till you guys finish.
Steve is our friend.
And I thought we can go back to some sports or something else.
We're talking sports right now.
Bro. What do you think we've been talking for the last hour, 52 minutes and 30 seconds?
We've gone pretty hard on basketball. You guys want to finish with a little fantasy football? Chris had his fantasy football questions. Should we do that and call it a day?
Since we've got like 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
We'll go for 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's a fair amount of time there.
That is a fair amount. So we're going to get into the fantasy question.
I did.
All right. Here you go.
What do you got, Chris? Fire off. Yeah, give us a question.
All right. Give us a question. Let me. I'm gonna take us off so everybody can hear us.
Right here by the dining room.
Yeah, good idea.
Go ahead.
All right. So here are the 3 questions. I know you guys probably need some research to do, so you guys pick which one you want. Right. Second year breakout wide receiver.
We already kind of did that.
Right. Tight ends 5 through 10.
5 through fucking 10.
Well, we know 1 through 4, right? And 3 running backs nobody sees as a number 2 fantasy football running back.
Is there another option? Another question. Are these our only options?
Dude, I bring hard hitters, bro. I bring hard hitters, man.
I guess the most relevant one, it's probably the hardest one to answer, but the most relevant one is probably the running back one.
It's the running back one. Because it is the
running back, because that's a big on roster construction. Yeah. Tight end isn't as important. Running back's real important. But that's the hard one to answer because it's
only like 5 or 6 bell cows.
Right. It's tough.
So what are you asking again? The second
so think about this, right? You guys get the number 2 pick in the draft. You get, CMC. Okay, hypothetically, right? You got to get your number 2 running back.
Okay.
You don't pick for a while.
Yeah. Who is it? Who are you targeting? Right. I mean, you can't say
Jonathan Taylor.
Maybe Alvin. You think he's last until pick 18, 20?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Hold on.
I got one.
Okay.
Chris Carson.
He always hangs around.
He's there. He'll be there.
Right. But then this
is one we don't think is going to be.
Didn't they just wrap Rashad Penny and drafted another one this year, right?
I think so, and that's the issue with him. But he's a beast, right. And so he could be a good number 2 running back would be available there.
What about Mostert?
Yeah.
Is
Mostert going to be healthy? Is he going to give me the first 8 games or the last 8 games?
Yeah. How many touches is he going to get?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
How about Gaskins?
Oh,
what do you think of Gaskins? Is a good one.
How about the kid that went to Pittsburgh?
Najee Harris.
He ain't gonna be there.
I think he gets drafted. I think he gets overdrafted. But you got to remember, when you're talking about the draft, you're talking 1 through 10. 1 through 10, you're looking at probably 6 running backs, 3 receivers, and a quarterback. And then the next 8 picks are going to be more running backs, more receivers, and maybe another quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think he's there, bro. I think he gets drafted possibly in the first round, definitely, or early second.
In the 10th running back off the board, and by the time you're picking 18, 19, or 20, he's gone.
I bet he gets drafted in like the top 7 even because he's the new guy coming in, and the situation is a good situation too. Like we're talking about, they need the fucking running back to do some things, man.
Now, how about a Miles Sanders?
That's what I was going to say. Miles Sanders was the dude I was going to say next.
What about
Chase Edmonds, Kareem Hunt, David Montgomery?
I mean, so you're looking at a handcuffing Kareem Hunt before David Montgomery, or before what about a DeAndre Swift?
Yeah. I don't love it.
I don't love that either, but
J.K. Dobbins, maybe. I don't like the situation, but we're talking about like low end potential number 2 running backs. J.K. Dobbins.
I'll take Hunt over those guys.
How about
I'd take Dobbins over Hunt.
How about Cam Akers ain't making it to that spot either, right?
I think he's going to get drafted higher because of what you're saying. I don't love him but I think he's going to get drafted as more of a high end running back. I don't like him as high end. If you can get him in the situation we're talking about, I think you're happier than a pig in shit, man. If he's
your number 2 guy, you're pretty stoked, right?
You're stoked, I think. Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that. What about? And I know I'm going to say a name that you guys are going to be. Come on, bro. David Johnson.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I think David Johnson bounce back season, possibly. The possibility of them having to run an offense that protects quarterbacks from themselves as well. He's going to get touches. He's going to be that guy, I think.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's probably 29 going into 30-ish, maybe.
So he's basically
at that spot.
He's your age in running back years. Basically.
I would say that's probably true. Yes.
He's your age in running back years. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially because he's had some seasons where he carried the ball. I think that's the big concern with him. His opportunity is good. The talent was always there, but what's left of the talent at this point? Running back's one of those positions where dudes can take wear and tear and be done earlier, or you can have a Frank Gore type that can keep plugging along. I don't think he's the Frank Gore type, though. I think he's.
How about, okay, here's two names. I'd like your thoughts on these two names, okay? Devin Singletary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who was the other one? I just had him. James Robinson.
Yeah. What are my thoughts as to like them as a number 2 running back?
Yeah, I mean, James Robinson. Does Travis Etienne hurt them?
You're not picking him in the second round.
Yeah, I think Travis Etienne really hurts him. Yeah.
You're talking about picking them in the second round?
Not necessarily. Again, your number 2 guy, right? If you get CMC, let's be real. If I'm drafting CMC number 2, I'm probably not taking a running back at my second pick unless my guy is there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now I'm thinking, okay, who am I going to target?
Who's available at that pick or later? Yeah, exactly.
That guy, right? I mean, and the way it was, dude, that when we drafted, I knew I was taking Arian Foster well before anybody thought of it. When I drafted Aaron Rodgers with my first pick, I'm like, I know he's going to be there, and I'm taking this dude, right? That's kind of the player that I'm looking for. Who's that guy that's going to come out and be, and I don't want to say shock the world, but be legit. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got one.
Like James Robinson was last year.
What about Leonard Fournette?
Okay, the Ronald Jones factor and him,
that's the big issue there. But you got to believe in the talent of both of those guys. Both those dudes have
Fournette
talent.
a lot, bro. Yeah, I like Fournette a lot. And if Jones gets hurt, I think he's a steal. He's a monster.
Oh, he's a monster. Yeah, I think either of them gets hurt, the other one's a monster.
The other's a monster. Yes, right. But I do think that they both hurt their value. See, like to me, dude, like a guy like DeAndre Swift is kind of sneaky good because who's his competition there?
Right.
I mean,
it wasn't that long ago. People were on the carry on our way.
Talking about in the draft too, though, right? Like all this pertains to like what we're talking about in the draft, right? Like when you're picking up a DeAndre Swift or
It's not.
But now we're
in the second round, but
fourth round, and
but who's your running back too?
Backups?
Who's your RB2, Steve? It's
who's
not
your RB2?
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I was saying. Like wouldn't having like that's why I said the Kareem Hunt wouldn't be a bad pick because you're not gonna. I don't think no one's picking him up in the second round either.
Fuck no, there ain't nobody picking him in the second round.
But if you look at his production and how much he does well for an RB2,
right? But his production was predicated upon an injury. He needed an injury to help him get production.
He still gets.
James Chubb was out. Sometimes, but it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss though. If he's touchdown dependent.
Sure, I might take. I'll say this: I might take Kareem Hunt over Tony Pollard, but not by a lot. But not by a lot. You know what I mean? Because they're both in the same type of role, right?
Yeah.
If Chubb wasn't there, bro, Kareem Hunt would be a top 10 running back every year.
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean? Right? I mean, if he went anywhere else, if he went to a lot of, there's probably 20 other teams he could walk onto and be the best running back there.
Okay, so hold on. In that same vein, the Raiders situation with Drake and Jacobs. Okay, but that situation, based upon what the coaches are saying, Drake's going to have a big role. And we're talking about potentially like close to a 50-50 split there. So what's your value on either of those guys? Would you want either of those guys as your running back too?
I would take Jacobs as my 2.
I would take, of course, Jacobs not going to be there.
As my 2 because Jacobs is a better player. Be there.
He's going in the second round easily.
Okay, but here's my point, Steve, is that if people are doing that, they're fucking up because it's already been said by the Raiders coaching staff that we're looking at like pretty close to full time. It's going to be like 60-40. So Jacobs' numbers his touches get eaten into greatly there. And Jacobs has never been a good receiver, so you're not getting the reception boost you do with some other guys who have a lower volume rate. I think he takes a big hit. And so if people are overdrafting him there, yeah, okay. But to me, I'm just saying where I would take him, either of those dudes, they fall down my board into the realm of the guys we're talking about right now.
All right.
To me, Jacobs in the third round is good value. Jacobs in the third round is good value.
That's as high as I would take him right now, I think. I think he's going to take a real big hit, man.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, what sucks is I have him on our league, and so he's probably one of my keepers.
It sucks, man. I think he's a great back. It was not a position I would have gone for if I was the Raiders. I'd have rode that dude.
The move, but it's like we talked about. Is this the Tyrone Wheatley, Charlie Gardner thing that these dudes are trying to?
That's what they're envisioning, I'm sure. Bro. Yeah, that's what they're envisioning. But yeah, it's not good for fantasy. That's for sure. It really. I was big on Jacobs in fantasy, and it really has kind of killed his value as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't draft him high at all.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I mean, I may have to put him on the auctioning block because I knew last year when I was drafting, I was like, I'm taking Josh Jacobs, bro.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because I knew depending on where I picked, right? I'm taking this dude, right? And I ended up with the 10th pick. And so I'm like, okay, that's who I'm taking. And then Alvin Kamara keeps falling. And then I'm like, fuck, I wasn't planning on taking 2 running backs. But I took Kamara and Jacobs. I stuck to my plan. Mm-hmm. And, I'm kind of glad that I did because, I still got Kamara, right? Mm-hmm. But now, having Jacobs, who was probably going to be one of my keepers, my other keeper, now I'm, like you said, because of that Drake signing, it makes me like, man, son of a bitch.
Well, also if you listen to what's coming out of Raiderland, what they're saying about the situation, it takes before you were kind of hoping, well, Drake's just going to be like maybe 20%, 30% of touches max. They're making it sound like, they want it to be a timeshare. It's, you don't pay a running back that much money if you don't want him to touch the ball a lot. So they
gave him a lot of money, dude. I'm shocked, dude. I'll tell you, probably parts of me thinks, man, is this about to be literally the Charlie Gardner of this offense, where he's actually on the field the 65%, and Wheatley's just the banger, making Jacobs as the banger.
I just had a vision. Chris is going to be auctioning off a trade for Jacobs on draft day. When we do our draft, he's going to be sitting in the corner with a Raider fan, some Raider fan out there.
Do everything I love. Do with Calvin Kamara too, bro.
I see the head spinning right now, bro.
Yep, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Who's in your league?
What's bad is I've already been thinking about that for months.
The way he's just sitting up here like,
I've been on that for months, bro. I've been on that for months, bro. I've been on that for months, dude. I have at least 3 to 4 different scenarios that are already playing out in my mind for keepers, and hey, I'm willing to offer Jacobs. I'm willing to offer Kamara. I'm willing to offer Aaron Rodgers.
Who in your league are Raider fans that you're going to be targeting? Is Albert still in the league?
No, I think it's Reggie now. I think it's just Reggie. And I don't know if Reggie won't trade with me, dude.
Yeah, Reggie's actually pretty good, as I recall, at fantasy. I think
he's all right.
Decent. Yeah.
He's all right. Yeah,
he's not an idiot. Is Dave still in your guys' league?
No, he left.
It
sucks. Been trying to get him back, but I guess after him being the fucking bridesmaid so many times, bro. I mean, him and Steve are like fucking Chuck and Larry. You know what I'm saying?
I can't second so many times is ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, bro, they both. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's funny.
It's fucking. I lost to everybody. If you won a chip, you probably beat
me. Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's coming up quick. It'll be here faster than everybody thinks, right? I mean, it's generally at the end of August that we're drafting. You know what I mean?
Wait till after that third preseason game, or I guess there's only 2 now or something, right? Did they change the
3 now? There's only 3 now on average, right?
You guys want to do one for us? Since we're doing this little podcast, it may be kind of fun. We just 3 of us get in and do our own little.
Do a fantasy, a mock draft type of deal, or what do you call it?
Our own fantasy. We can do our own little fantasy league. Maybe add a friend or 2, but do something we can really talk a lot more about and converse about, and it kind of go. You know what I mean? Because
anybody wants to shoot us $10 to join our league,
it goes better. We're all in the league together.
Yeah, the problem with that is that if we don't have enough players in the league, everyone's team is just like. It's superhuman. It's
no. It was like when the 4 of us and Darren, when me, you, and Steve and Darren would do it, we'd have
we can open it up. I can trust me. I can fill it up.
Okay. Well, let's do this. What about this? 8-team league, 2 quarterbacks.
No, what?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What? It's fun. You ain't never done a 2-quarterback league before? It creates because there's only so many good quarterbacks to go around. It makes the quarterback position more valuable.
Yeah,
and then
your
you don't
top
have
10
to fill out
your
10,
top
12
10
people.
Can we
you've
try
got your
like
top 10, and now then you're like,
PPR league or something like that?
Well, if you want to, if you can fill out enough people. The problem with those leagues is that if you don't have at least 10 teams, it's that everybody has such a strong team. It just comes down to injuries at that point.
Here's the problem. It's not even going to be about the amount of players. Trust me, the players I can get. I can get I'm in a fucking league with goddamn 20 motherfuckers. No, it's 16.
Okay.
Or 17.
No, well, regardless, that's ridiculous. I wouldn't even want to be in that.
It's
league.
a ridiculous fucking league. So trust me, I can get. I'm at a bar. Trust me, I can get as many people as we want in a league.
Okay, but so the point of this though is something that we could do a podcast on each week. So we kind of would want it to be with a group of people where we can rotate on a guest from the league, like each week or something.
Sometimes if one of that's what I'm saying. If you can get a friend, and maybe Chris can get a friend, and I'll fill out the rest or whatever we need to fill it all out. And then if they want to come on and talk about it, fine. That's fine. If they don't, they don't have to.
Oh, I can get somebody that'll come on and oh my God, you're gonna have to give him the skip treatment probably. But my boy Roy, man, he'll talk nonstop.
I'll put Skip on there. What are you talking about?
As long as we're good with the N bombs nonstop, because that's what he does. He's on nonstop it, but he'll be entertaining. He'll definitely like it.
All right. Well, I don't care. Like, personally, it's all up to you guys, whoever you want to put in. You know what I mean?
Another thing I think would be fun just to do a show of, though, if we don't do that, is just let's put together like a 12-team league. We each pick for 4 of the teams and just do a mock draft going down through it of how we think things could go. I think that would be fun to kind of play through some of these rankings we're doing and stuff like that. They have that like the mock fantasy draft things, platforms you can do where we can just run through it and you take, like one person gets pick 1, one person gets pick 2, one person gets pick 3. The person who got pick 1 gets pick 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. Or the opposite or whatever, that would be fun to do, I think.
I'm down for that too.
All right. Well, as we get closer, when we get closer to fantasy football season, let's do a show like that. At least one. That would be fun, I think.
Okay, and then I'll set up a thing so we can get in on a league together.
Okay.
And that way it gives us something to talk about when it comes to the leagues and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Key. Melvin Gordon, thoughts on him?
Yeah, I was actually when we were talking about all this, I was thinking of Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's a tough one, and they the name's there, so you're inclined to think something's possible there. But I think when you look at the totality of the situation, it just doesn't I don't know why you'd want to roster him as anything more than just like a throwaway afterthought depth piece. That's me though.
Okay, so I have another name for you. Right? Is Todd Gurley still playing?
I don't know. Is he?
I don't know, bro, because Mike Davis is the first Atlanta running back listed.
Yeah, no, and I've heard Mike Davis listed and stuff. I think Gurley, that whole situation's muddled there, right? Gurley's one of these dudes that you're like, does he really want to play football? I think it's kind of it's something weird with that cat, man. I don't know.
Or can he really play football?
Can he? Yeah, because his knees have been shot since college. So so the last 2 guys I've got for you guys, okay? And I'd like you both to tell me who you would take, all right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I think would be a good candidate for that number 2 back, or Damian Harris.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire to me. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah,
so Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the 2nd round, or Damian Harris in the 7th round?
Oh, okay. That changes things a bit. Oh yeah.
Right, because value matters. That's the thing. That's the beauty of I think all three of us. We understand.
For sure. Yeah.
Value.
Who are you passing in the second round to get Clyde? See, my thing with Clyde, man, is I just like the ceiling on that dude is so high. If things break the right way for him.
But didn't you see Andy Reid? Didn't you see Andy Reid pull the usual Andy Reid and go with running back by committee in a way?
Yeah, but it's not necessarily usual. Andy Reid has had some seriously relevant fantasy running backs in his coaching career.
Well, only LaShawn.
No. Westbrook.
Who was the other?
Westbrook. He was a beast, fantasy beast. He was receiving and rushing. He was like one of the top two fantasy running backs for a few years there in Philly.
I'm trying to remember. I remember his career. I do remember his career.
I had him in our league back in the day when I was still in the league with you guys, and I won a title with that cat as my running back.
That may be one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know about Brian Westbrook. That might have been why.
Yeah. Salty about him. He was a beast. He had like 3 years where that dude was 2 or 3 years where he was a fucking beast fantasy. With Andy Reid as his coach.
Let's take a quick gander here, guys.
And then, you had LaShawn. And I think Clyde can fill that role. He can receive. He's shifty.
So I could see the years you're referring to. They're back-to-back years, bro. Back-to-back years. So 2006, 2007.
Beast.
Yeah, he had 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Receiving wise, he had 77 receptions, 600 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He followed that up the next year with 1,300
juggernaut.
Yeah, 1,300, 7 again, and then receiving 90 for 770 and 5 tugs, bro. Total yards from scrimmage, 2,100 yards, dude. So he obviously. Okay, so he had 2 good years.
What about, and I could be wrong here, but was he Charlie Garner's coach before Charlie Garner came to the Raiders too? This is going way, way back. But I think he might have been the coach then too, and Charlie put up some huge numbers for them. And that's how he got his Raider contract.
For Philly.
Before he became the Raider running back.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought that was like Donovan McNabb.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what's your view of huge, or even good? What's your view of good for Charlie Gardner before he went to the Niners?
To the Raiders, right?
No, he went to the Niners for 2 years and actually had his 2 best seasons there, and then you guys signed him.
Okay.
99, 2000, he played for the San Francisco 49ers.
The old memory bank don't work the same for that. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. I know he played for us. I knew he played for us.
He played for the Niners twice.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
1,200 yards 1 year with 4 touchdowns. He had 68 receptions for 680. The next year in San Francisco, he went for 1,142, 7 touchdowns, had 68 grabs for 640.
Hey, bro.
And then he went to Oakland and promptly rushed for 840 yards, 960 yards, 550 yards, and ended in Tampa with 111. Prior to that, his most rushing yards was 588 yards in Philadelphia his second year.
Okay.
How many games did he play?
Total or what per year?
That year.
That he only had 500. He played in 15 games. Started 3 of them. That was his second year in the league. Had a high rushing average of 5.4.
Oh, so it wasn't bad. He just didn't get the rock.
Wait, hold on. Was Andy Reid the coach?
What?
Was Andy Reid the coach of the Chiefs with Jamal Charles too?
No.
No, that's a good question.
I think he might have been.
I think so. Yeah, I think so because they have Pat Mahomes, and he.
I'm just trying to bring up the point that I think Andy Reid and running backs can actually be a good combination for you.
You're saying with Jamal Charles, bro? When do you think Jamal Charles left the league?
Not Jamal Charles. He met Kareem Hunt.
Jamal Charles left Kansas City in 2016. That was his final year there.
I thought you meant Kareem Hunt.
He was at least two years removed from a 1,000-yard season at that point.
Who was their coach when Jamal Charles was doing his thing there? Who was the coach? I swore he had a season with Andy Reid. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just going off memory. I'm just trying to remember. So I'm not married to it. I definitely could be wrong.
So his last relatively good season with Kansas City was a 1,000-yard season in 2014.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure 2014 Andy Reid was still in. Let me just verify. Andy Reid coaching teams.
You still did, I'm just saying you
that seems cool. So he Philadelphia from 99 to 2012, Kansas City from 2013 on. So he did overlap with Jamal Charles, it looks like, for at least a year.
Aha! Like a steel trap. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my point is that furthers my point. I knew there were some other ones out there. Andy Reid can have good fantasy running backs for you. So I'd take Clyde Edwards-Helaire to bring it all full circle back to where I was trying to get to. I'll take Clyde. Very long road for me to get here, but that's the road I took, and that's where I'm ending at. Andy Reid can be good for fantasy running backs.
God.
What's crazy is Westbrook
Chris,
and
please don't do that
McCoy
again.
were on the same
Please
team.
don't do that again.
Please don't do that again.
If we had one viewer, we just lost him. That was yeah. the nipple. This man came with some nipple play.
Nah, bro, it's the hair, bro.
Hey, what do you guys?
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse. Let's say.
I don't either, bro. It's just a habit.
That's a habit. That's a habit. It's funny because Johnny's habit is to play with his dick. You ever notice out in public? You could be at a nice restaurant and Johnny all of a sudden starts like jangling his dick in front of everybody.
And he put his hand down there and everything. Like, I'm just in there. Like, yes. Like, bro. Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not. Yeah.
You're not that bad.
Not that bad.
Yeah, you just play with your chest hair. I guess that's a step up from playing with your dick in public. That's probably true.
It's more than a step up. If I was playing with my belly button hair, then you might have a problem. But more than a step up.
Yeah, take a couple steps up, literally and figuratively. Yeah.
So, Steve, what are your 3 questions since you've now had 2 hours and 20 minutes to work on them?
Why are you not wearing a shirt today?
This is a nylon situation. Why are you not wearing a shirt? Why are you not wearing a shirt? Why are you not wearing a shirt for our show?
I figured you were mailing it in. Once you went and grabbed the chips, I figured you were mailing it in.
You gave him the letter, Chris. You gave him the letter to mail by not wearing a shirt. But you handed him the letter. Steve took it to the mail.
What's funny is it's not the first time. I'm usually sitting outside. You guys just don't recognize it, I guess, when I'm outside.
Nah, you get a tank top at least, usually. Yeah, one of the times you started without one, but you went and got a tank top. Yeah.
And we wasn't live.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe that too.
There's been times that I've gone
so do you have any questions, or are we going to wrap this shit up?
I can give my questions tomorrow. And save some good questions for tomorrow. Chris didn't like my question anyway, so I don't want to bring it up. So
let's do it.
It's
embarrassing.
I don't care if Chris likes it or
not. Shoot it. Oh, I already know what it is, I think. What is this, Steve? What is it? What's the embarrassing question?
I was wondering if baseball should make a rule to either get rid of the DH. That one.
I'm not going to talk baseball. So if you're going to come up with questions, Steve, if you're going to come up with questions and I'm on the show, if you guys want to do your own baseball deal, do your own baseball deal. I don't have to participate, but I'm not going to engage.
That was my burning question.
I'm also not going to talk NASCAR or golf.
Are you happy, Chris? So there you go, Chris. So your question about fucking Phil wouldn't work either, motherfucker.
What were your question going to be? Is it golf question? Are you Jack Nicholson?
I was just gonna say, what are your thoughts on Phil winning the championship at 50?
Yeah, I don't care. You could win a golf championship at 80. It's a fucking meaningless. It's not a sport.
All right, so
you're sitting around playing.
At least I could finish my question. At least I could finish my question. You couldn't even finish your question legitimately to Kawani because you realized how bad it was having 24 hours to think about it, knowing damn well that just like I told you, you were going to lose a third of our audience, bro. You're going to lose a third of our audience with that question.
A third of our audience?
Yeah. Hold on. Look, his question's bad because it's about baseball. The content of the question, if you're talking baseball, is not bad, though, Chris.
It's bad.
That's a very relevant question. Why do you think that's such a bad question?
Get the DH rule or get rid of it. His question to me was I was watching TV and they said, should they keep the DH or should they just implement it all together with everybody or just get rid of it or what? What should they do about the DH?
Okay. So what about that as a horrible question?
Why are we talking about the DH just in general?
Because it's relevant to the game. It creates an inadequacy between the two sides of the game. They play each other in a World Series. So it's not an even playing field. It's kind of like you have two sets of rules. It'd be like in the Western Conference if they abolished the 3-point line, and in the Eastern Conference they had a 3-point line, and then you play the championship. It's not that far off. It's not that far off. Pitchers don't have to hit, Chris. They don't have. That's a big fucking deal. The pitchers
when you got a pitcher that can hit,
all right. But my point is,
there's like one of them. There's like one.
Let me. I'm gonna just put this in perspective, Let me just put this in perspective because at the end of the day, Chris was talking. He's like, "Have you thought of any questions of the day?" And I told him about it. And then he rides me like I was like, "Bro, you were supposed to just run with a fucking question. You're digging my ass about this question. Is it really that bad of a question that I'm not even doing no more questions? Fuck it, bro. I got no more." Bro.
He threw this entire fit, just so you know. He threw this entire fit. You could hear him with the whole all on the other end of the phone too, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, this is Monday morning. We just had Phil win the championship. We've had an entire weekend of basketball, right? Julio gets on the radio this morning or gets on TV that morning and is like, I'm out of there, man. And I'm like, Steve, did you come up with any questions? I'm all excited thinking we're doing it. And he drops fucking DH on me, bro.
Yeah, okay, I get that. The content of the question, I think, is a valid discussion at the time.
And I told him, "Hey, you want to talk this in July?" I told him, "You want to talk this in July?"
Came up. Yeah, I had that question in my head specifically for that. So it was before all of the shit going on. Because you remember you text us, everybody had 3 questions and shit. And then I heard it on the radio we were talking about. So it was something I wanted to make sure.
Relevant to what's going on.
And it was for the show. I was going to write it down for the show. It wasn't.
Yeah,
we can still talk about all the shit going on. But if he was asking me if I thought of one of my questions, that was going to be one of them. And that's all I was saying about that.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing Chris just hit on that I do think we should talk about, and then we can wrap the show up, though, that I think we should hit on because it definitely pertains to Chris, is how deeply did it hurt you to hear what Julio said on First Take or whatever that shit show is with Shannon and Skip?
Awesome. That shit was awesome.
That was cold-blooded, bro.
It doesn't bother me. Care? It doesn't. No, I didn't think there was a chance of him coming anyway, bro. And what would we have to give up for him? You know,
it didn't make a lot of sense.
I understand the economics of it far better than most people do, bro. That is not the contract you want to be trying to trade for and incorporate into your salary cap, unless you have a lot of space. Right, or unless Atlanta's paying for it.
I think the thing, though, like the implication was that you guys are not a contender. That he was basically saying, "No, I want to go to a contender."
Well, of course, bro. Everybody feels that way, bro. Dude, everyone feels that way, dude. I mean, think about it, bro. You've got a nation of Stephen A. Smiths out there that hate on the Cowboys. It's just how it is, bro. I mean, you know, I'm not going to get it. There are players that don't want to play for us. That's cool. You know, what was it? Malcolm Jenkins have openly said he'll never play for the Cowboys. Never, because of Jerry Jones, right?
I mean, I'll be real with you. I wouldn't play for you guys because of Jerry Jones, because like I told you, it's a fucking plantation down there. If you're going to go play for the Cowboys, you better be ready to come to work every day and say, "Yes, sir. Right away, sir. No problem, sir." Yeah, that's how it is in Cowboy land.
As long as you win, you can do whatever you want down there.
Plantation.
The problem is some of these dudes have been able to do what they want without the winning.
With Roadzilla.
Fuck, bro, they can do what they want without the friggin' winning. You know, lately, that's the problem. You know. So, but yeah, it doesn't bother me, dude. I mean, I think I don't want to get any older at skilled positions, bro.
Okay. If you guys, let's say it did happen. If this had never been said, though, if you can like take the blinders off and imagine if then you guys traded, say, Amari Cooper for Julio Jones, just some kind of generic straight up deal, you wouldn't be happy about that? Yeah. Would you rather have Amari Cooper than Julio Jones?
4 or 5 years younger, I probably would rather.
Right now.
4 or 5 years younger.
He's saying he's 4 or 5 years younger than him.
So to me, the realistic trade would have been like Julio for our number 3 and Michael Gallup, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're getting a young asset in return and the draft pick, a second round pick or whatever. To me, that's more feasible. But trading Amari for Julio, I mean, is it an upgrade? Sure, if Julio plays every game. But if he gives you 11, is he? Right? And plus he's older. Is it? Right? You know, I mean, for what we have, for what we do, it's not like, dude, now if you're saying this, is trade what you ever to the Raiders? Absolutely, bro, because you don't have Amari Cooper or you don't have a CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion. So you get
used to have Amari Cooper and decided to not do that for whatever reason.
You could have had CeeDee Lamb too and took fucking Henry Ruggs instead, right? But I mean, like if you're Green Bay, right? If you're Green
Exhibit
Bay,
47A of why I'm not a fucking Raider fan anymore. Right?
You know, but if you're Green Bay, you do what you can to get Julio there because that's twofold. Now you have the ultimate weapon opposite the best receiver in football in Devontae, right? And you have a guy that's, you know, that shows Aaron that he's your guy. So why not say, hey, since you didn't take a young quarterback, why don't you take this Jordan Love character and a second round pick for Julio?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let's just, you know,
they should. It makes tons of sense. They should be. It's a no-brainer for them. I don't know why they don't do it. It's just Green Bay never does that kind of stuff. I mean, when was the last time that you've seen them make like a big splash trade to benefit their team versus like trading someone away? It basically never happens. That's just not the way that franchise operates. So
I think Andrew Brandt said that, you know, so like the Reggie White thing was a revelation because he was a free agent and he signed there.
He was a free agent.
I think Andrew Brandt has talked about there was 1 or 2 trades that have happened in the past that have fucking like have scarred them for life because they were trading for a player that they thought was going to come do something and didn't. I forget who it was, but he also said too that a lot of the reasons why the Packers operate the way they do is because of their ownership and the way that their franchise is structured, right? The fact that it's publicly owned really hinders the ability to have that Jerry Jones, Al Davis, you know, DeBartolo fucking bravado and make you know, that move, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, right? They have to stay pretty strict and stringent upon how they operate, and I could see that in what they do, but you know. And they made mistakes. Drafting Jordan Love at that time wasn't smart. Just wasn't smart football, you know. I could say that I could see, you know, like they've talked about how do you draft Jordan Love and then you turn around and you draft AJ Dillon at a running back when you pay Aaron Jones all this money. Well, bro, if you watched AJ Dillon run last year when he got the chance, that kid's going to be a player, bro. He's going to be a player, you know. But Jordan Love,
that's how they do things. That's why they drafted Jordan Love too. Because the thing about Jordan Love is that Jordan Love was not a NFL ready quarterback when they drafted him. He's one of these dudes that's got a cannon, but he has mechanical issues. So he was going to be a project. So from that standpoint, the stuff they've done has made sense. I think that, you know, like you've talked about the they a lot. Aaron Rodgers or whoever may let the they get in his head a little bit about what was actually going on there, because they're doing exactly like we're talking about. That they have to, with that team, they have to build like that. You've got to always be thinking about a couple steps down the line because you're not going to be making those big splash moves. You're not going to do it.
Aaron Rodgers was right about that when he said he threw a monkey wrench in that whole thing when he won that MVP. Yeah, and that's why that shit all kind of.
I think they thought that he was declining. Yeah, I think they believed he was kind of declining. They watched what happened with the Niners and fucking smacking the crap out of them, right? And they figured that maybe this window was closed and we're going to move on. and position ourselves to, a couple years down the road. And then Aaron comes out and he does what he does. He's absolutely right. It did throw a monkey wrench in it. But you know what? No, in today's day and age, the way the league's designed, your quarterback is the one guy who can play till they're 40. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody else, nowadays. Bro, you better be getting rid of them by the time they're 30, right? Every other position, at the time they're 30, you start wondering. But for quarterback, you can hold till they're 40, especially when they're
when you got Aaron
especially when they're as good as him, bro. Right? So bundle love. You know what I'm saying? Bundle picks. Get you another weapon in there. Go out and try to find you one of these fucking young pass rushers, right? Pressure players. And make a go of it for the next 2 years with Aaron Rodgers, bro. And then when he walks away, then you deal with it. You know what I mean? Because I can't fathom having a guy that good and wasting it. You know what I mean? Because I've watched it when we had Romo. Romo was good enough to win a Super Bowl. Just the organization was crap around him, bro. He was crap. I mean, it's just disgusting, dude. And you see a lot of these good players get wasted because of fucking crap ass fucking ownership.
Chris, I want to let you finish your thought there, but I cannot let that slide because we just discussed that he's just a fucking guy. And my whole point was put a team around the guy, and he's not just a fucking guy. Same thing I was saying about Rivers. So this goes into the deal with you, and this is why you're great for a podcast, because you just like to argue. And so regardless of what the point is, you're going to fucking argue it. And now we've come full circle. I'm going to start keeping a list of things that you say that are silly, and so that I can come back around, because you're a smart guy and you're actually logical, but you like to argue so much. You just dismiss logic in favor of arguing. So I'm going to keep a list of the Chris argument list, the nonsensical Chris argument list. And number one on that list is just a guy, Philip Rivers, and we're going to circle around to this over and over again.
I mean, I think, how about this? I actually think Romo was a better quarterback than Philip.
What's going on here? What are we doing?
That's Steve. Music. That's Steve. Steve's checked out. Like he's checked out.
No, I didn't check out
because into this.
You know what happened is while this is going on, Trisha was in here and she was watching the video, but she can't hear it because it's on my ear pods. And when I do it on through the speakers, it's so delayed that it's
super delayed. Yeah,
it's terrible to watch. So I was trying to turn it up just a little bit for her to hear without it coming through the ear pods, but it's still kind of
it was bad just then. Like I couldn't even hear Chris, basically.
Because you were getting loud, and so it gets loud on the other side. It was
that makes sense. Okay, I got you.
And so her and Alexis were sitting there watching it and shit.
As much as I would love to make my point, try to explain it.
So I got it on the TV there.
Okay.
Trisha was sitting down there. And her and Alexis was watching. Carlos is over there. So they were all watching it, and, we're getting interesting for a while.
If you muted your mic, did you know if you muted your mic, Steve, we wouldn't pick it up, and then they could watch and hear, but then you have to unmute to speak.
Yeah.
I'll try that.
If me and Chris get engaged in like a heavy duty one people want to see over there, you can mute and then we can just go.
Yeah. But I will say this. I'm gonna finish with this.
The guy thing comes up. This is gonna stay with us forever, Chris. Just so you know. A guy is not going fucking anywhere.
Good.
But you think Tony Romo's better than Philip Rivers? Tony Romo's better than Philip Rivers.
Yes,
just a guy competition.
Just a guy competition, hell yeah, absolutely. In just a guy competition, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I think Tony Romo was a much better quarterback than Philip was.
I think so.
I don't.
I think that I think
they're close. I think it's close, but I would take Philip.
I would take Tony.
The state of the Cowboys organization hindered him from even being remotely close to reaching what he could have done. If Parcells stays, even after the debacle in Seattle, I think Parcells teaches Romo gives him the testicular fortitude to mentally overcome that right? To where he wins in spite of Jerry, as opposed to having to rely on Jerry, because I think Bill was on the verge of doing that with a lot of those players. That's why when you look at the players that were Bill's guys from that team, DeMarcus Ware, Jason Witten, those were his guys, bro. They were professionals. They were pros. The thing about that is
unfair in an argument of Philip Rivers versus Tony Romo is that Parcells is a generational coach. So Philip Rivers never got the benefit of a generational coach like Parcells. So if we're going to create like what if scenarios and how things didn't pan out right, Philip Rivers never had a fucking coach like that. In the longevity of Philip Rivers' career, availability is the number one thing. You got to be available. And Philip Rivers has always been way more available.
Okay, he's been available.
Dude played with a torn ligament in his knee. Romo, if you
and you barely noticed.
If you fucking spit near Romo, he was hurt.
And you barely noticed the difference.
They're close. I agree they're close, but I'm just saying that I think I would take
Phil. I would take Tony over Phil. And I was a big Phil guy even coming out of college. I liked Phil. Phil checks a lot of quarterback boxes for what you want in a leader, a guy who started a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
And dude, the fact that he was in your face as a quarterback, you don't see that. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot
talking
about
shit to the defense,
bro, but when it all pans itself out, him and Romo are just guys, and then it's a matter of preference of aesthetics.
Chris, you just said a second ago that Romo wasn't just a guy.
Phillip, how about this?
Didn't have the team around him.
Okay, hold on. Phillip would have won a Super Bowl, right? Phillip would have won a Super Bowl in New England, right?
Yeah,
I believe that, right? Tony Romo,
I believe that too.
I'm not saying that Phillip is incapable of winning it, but what I'm saying is in comparison to their peers throughout the time that I've been watching football, okay, right? Their accomplishments in their career puts them more in the just the guy status as opposed to the greatest of all time status, right? Hall of Fame bust status, right? To me,
that's a wide dearth of area we've got there for just guys. Then it's like,
there's a lot of players, bro.
You're just a guy,
bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, the Hall of Fame is about telling the story of football, okay, without these players. That's how you make them a Hall of Famer, bro. We can tell the story of football without Philip Rivers. We can tell the story of football without Tony Romo. Can you tell the story of football without Tom Brady? Are you going to be able to tell the story of football without Pat Mahomes?
Tomlinson? Can you tell the story of football without LaDainian Tomlinson?
You can't.
Because why does that apply to Philip Rivers?
Because
he didn't change the game. He was a good running back.
LT is one of the top 5 running backs to play in the last fucking 20 years.
Okay.
Philip is not one of the top 5 quarterbacks to play in the last 20 years.
Top 10.
I mean, it's Trent Dilfer was top 10 at some point in his life.
No, he wasn't,
bro. Right? I mean, he had to be.
Trent Dilfer, Chris. Okay.
We're
3 hours in now, damn near. We've reached the point of the podcast where Chris is
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Reality. Trent Dilfer was a terrible player. He won a Super Bowl. He's exactly
considered top 10. These guys are fucking crap, bro.
No. Never considered that. Trent Dilfer nor Flacco were ever considered top 10. That never happened. They had great teams around them, and they won a Super Bowl. And that was my point to you about why you can't overvalue a Super Bowl when you're talking about a team game like football, where you have that many other starting players on the field. One guy cannot be responsible for everything. So not getting a championship cannot remove him from a conversation as being one of the top players at his position. It's not fair. Dilfer got one because they had a great defense and, an offense that could play a little ball control. Saying, Joe Flacco won one for basically the same thing, and he won by the skin of his teeth.
Thing.
Same
thing. And Philip had those and couldn't win. And Philip had teams and couldn't win.
He did not have any.
Only had teams and couldn't win.
We definitely gotta start chopping these up.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Who in the hell
is way too long.
Is a better player than LT that these guys played with?
And then who?
Ray Lewis? Ray?
Yeah. Ray?
Okay. Ray? Okay. After that?
Definitely Ray.
By far. Ray and then LT.
Shannon Sharp?
Yeah. Shannon Sharp, yeah. I mean, I don't know that he's better than LT though.
Did Shannon win both of those? Shannon didn't win both of those. He only won the one with Baltimore the first time.
Oh yeah.
He was there for the second Baltimore one.
Yeah.
Because was that Todd Heap as their tight end?
Yeah, it was Todd Heap.
Yeah, Todd Heap.
My
boy T Sizzle. T Sizzle in the building. I like T Sizzle was good, man.
Bro, yeah.
Well, they had what's his name? Safety.
Did he win Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. Ed Reed.
Yeah. Baltimore
that defense was. Oh, that defense was something else. Bro. Yeah, those were great defenses. And so they carried those quarterbacks to championships. That's my point, though, is that, Phillip Rivers and Romo were not able to carry those teams to championships. There was much better other teams out there that were better all-around teams. And, had probably better quarterbacks. I mean, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning were certainly better quarterbacks than Phillip Rivers. You look at a team like the Steelers. They had tremendous defenses those years that Ben Roethlisberger went. They had great receiving cores a lot of the time.
Roethlisberger or Rivers. Same draft.
I don't know. It's tough to say because we've seen Roethlisberger make some heroic plays in big moments. So you want to elevate him.
Roethlisberger.
Who's to say Phillip Rivers or Romo wouldn't have done the same thing on those teams, though? Those were tremendously coached teams with great talent around them, great defenses. I don't know, man. I think that's a tougher one to call.
I love the what if too. But when we talk about some of these things, the guy thing is only based upon what was actually done, what was accomplished.
Right.
And I can't say the latest is the greatest, right? Because I liked Phillip over all of the quarterbacks. I didn't like Eli Manning.
Let me ask you this then, though. Let's pose the opposite. If Roethlisberger never gets a Super Bowl, where does he rank amongst those guys? Same career, same numbers and everything. Is he just a guy with Phillip Rivers?
Just a guy.
I agree with that. That's the level I think they're on. I think
Eli, a guy.
I think even more so. I think Eli even more so if he doesn't get Super Bowls. It's just a guy.
They are not transcendent talents, bro. That's how I feel. They're not transcendent talents. They're not. I'll say this. How about this? I'll even go as far as this. If Josh Allen puts together a 4-year run after the year he had last year that's pretty comparable, I'm going to start to believe that dude as a quarterback is far more talented than some of these guys because of how he's built, what he does, how he throws the ball, the way it looks, the aestheticness of it. You know what I'm saying? And if Buffalo finds any success whatsoever, I'm going to start in my mind to make an argument he's a better quarterback than these guys. Because the fact is, these guys,
he's a good quarterback.
It's written in stone right now. But if he falls off the map now, what if he falls off the map? Right?
Could happen.
Then it's still written.
I don't think it will.
I don't think it
will. I don't either. Beast, man.
I'm going to say this, dude. I'm going to say that to me, I see at least 4 young arms in this league, not named Pat Mahomes, that has a chance at doing some good things. And he's one of them.
4, huh? He's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So who are the other 2? Or other 3?
Herbert's going to be.
Oh yeah, you like A-Bear there. Yeah, that's right.
Yep, big time. Yep, and I think Joe Burrow's going to have a really good career too. I think, dude, if Cincinnati is going to be his biggest hindrance, the organization, I don't think it's going to be him. I don't think it's going to be him.
What about old boy on Arizona? What do you think about Kyler Murray?
I think Kyler's one of those guys that has some limitations as a quarterback, and they tend to get exposed. It gets exposed. He's a flawed guy. Is he talented? Hell yeah. Does he have an arm? Hell yeah. The kid can rip it. He can spin it, right? Especially for only being 5'9", and his little fucking but is he flawed? Yes.
Okay, but don't you think his comp is kind of Russell Wilson? Don't you think he could be a Russell Wilson?
Dude, see, and this is the thing. This is where when I go back to like their colleges careers, I followed Russ as a college quarterback, right? When he went from NC State to Wisconsin, I remember him being a baseball player, and you know what I'm saying? So I remember all of that when I think of Russ, dude. Russ's success doesn't shock me as much because I was wondering if Russ was 6'3", bro, you'd have been one of the fucking top 5 picks in that draft.
Yeah.
Right. But it's because he's a little guy, and the stigma was still there. He falls to the 3rd. Right. Well, because of Russ, does that elevate Kyler to the number 1 status in a way and familiarity with him? And I think it did too. Right. Is he as good as Russ? No. right? Does he have more arm talent than Russ? Maybe a little more strength, but nobody has the touch that Russ has. Russ has touched like it's nobody's business. Feathery. He throws some feathery deep passes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He's in command. The thing about Russ is he's in command. His mind game, he's in command, man.
Yes, he's on another level, bro. He is.
But I see flashes of Kyler being able to potentially get to that level. That's his comp, I think. That's where he can hope to get to.
Me too.
And I think
I'll say this, bro. He's in that division he's playing in ain't gonna fucking help him. Ain't gonna help him. That's murderer's row out west. That's why that was one of my other questions was let's talk about the best division. It's the NFC West. It is a murderer's row. Any one of those 4 teams can come out and win that division. Any one of those 4 teams can make fucking hay in the playoffs and are going to be expected to. Whoever comes out of that division is going to be expected to play well in the playoffs. They are that division is that good.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's a 3-team race for sure. I mean, unless the Niners want to move on from Jimmy G, I mean, I just don't see them really competing with that dude as their quarterback.
I'm just saying, go ahead and look at what Vegas say. Go look and see what Vegas say.
That's cool,
dude. They're drinking the Kool-Aid too. They're drinking the Kool-Aid too.
Look, I'm going to say this. Cool. People in Vegas are going to sway those odds because there's a lot of Niner fans putting money down. It's the same with Cowboys. Right? Do you honestly think that the Cowboys are anywhere where they really rank them in Vegas? Hell no. It's because they know that there's a shit ton of Cowboy fans going to dump money on it. That affects their rating.
Honestly, Steve, you got a good team. You guys have a chance. I really believe that your quarterback is going to hold you guys back.
Dude, what I've been telling him, just fucking pull the Band-Aid off, give him and let the kid go.
That's what I think.
You know,
Jimmy ain't getting you a Super Bowl, bro. He ain't getting you a Super Bowl.
Dude, because if he don't, it's a wasted year.
Exactly.
Because the rest of the roster is set up to make that kind of a run.
Your best chance is that you go with this kid and he comes out and he's a world beater. You know, I mean, we've seen it before. You can get you guys there.
You establish a 15-year dominant run with him as the QB, not during the handoff from Jimmy passing the baton. There'll be photos in the San Francisco Chronicle of Jimmy G after his 1 year of winning the Super Bowl in San Francisco, saying, "Well, it looks like it's your team now, Trey. Here you go, buddy."
Yeah.
What the fuck you think's gonna happen, man? As my boy Kwame says, man, some people are some stupid motherfuckers thinking that shit's going to work. Stupid motherfuckers. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. I just sorry, bud. But the rest of the team, bro, the rest of the team, dude, is
rest of the team,
bro, is legit, dude. Is legit. You know, Jimmy's, and this is what sucks is it's not like the Niners are going to suck though either.
No, they're not.
The Niners are going to be one of those teams that they're going to be like they'll have the up and down roller coaster. They'll go as Jimmy goes, right? And they're going to stay the course, bro. They're going to stay the course if they can.
You guys will be anywhere from 8 and 9 to 11 and what is it? 6? How many games is there? 11 and 6.
Yeah,
I think that's your guys' kind of window there. Maybe even 12 and 5. I think that's the ceiling of ceilings, just mainly because of the division that you guys are in.
Their defense is legit.
That's what their
defense is going to be squad, bro. Their front 7 is going to be dangerous, dude.
That's the optimistic. That's the top of realistic take. So you're still in the realm of realistic, at least, Steve.
But I don't think. I think if Jimmy plays all year, I think their floor is probably 8 and 9. That's their floor. So I gave Steve 3 scenarios. Okay, I gave him 3 scenarios.
Less than that.
All right, so here goes your 3 scenarios. If you were a Niner fan, you tell me which one you'd want. All right, okay. So Jimmy plays like Jimmy, right? But the kid doesn't reach the kid doesn't play all year. But you guys get to the playoffs and you lose in like the first round. But Jimmy, is Jimmy. Your plan holds the way it holds, and we think it happens the way it happens. Okay. Be careful. The second scenario is Jimmy comes out, he gets hurt in week 6, then the kid comes out and he plays, but he only goes like 3 and 6, and they miss the playoffs. It's a rough year, but the kid shows a little promise, but he struggles because he's a fucking rookie, right? Or here's your other scenario, okay, that Jimmy comes out, he's fucking out of here after week 1. The kid comes in, he goes 11 and 0, right? You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing, right? But you lose in the first round of the playoffs What's the scenario that you think every Niner fan's going to want? A mediocre Jimmy?
Hold on.
A typical Jimmy injured to the kid who doesn't play very well? Or Jimmy being ousted by the kid altogether, but you don't find the success in the playoffs that you thought you were going to have? Those are your only three scenarios.
Oh, I only get those three. I can't make my own scenarios.
Well, because we also said the other scenario is Jimmy plays like world beaters. They win the Super Bowl, and
I'll take that one.
See, that's the one you want where he's passing the baton to the kid after the Super Bowl. Hey, come up here,
well,
Trey.
What happens then, Steve? What happens then? Let's say in some ridiculous alternate QAnon fantasy world that happens, and you guys win the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Yes. What do you guys then do as a franchise? You still move on to the guy you just moved up? I mean, your team just moved up to 3 to fucking draft this kid. So you can't think Jimmy G is that good. You can't logically in your fucking mind really think that your team believes they're going to go to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G when they just did that, because it makes no logical sense. What do you do at that point? Okay, so he wins the Super Bowl. What do you do? What do you do going forward? We'll give Jimmy another year. He just won a fucking Super Bowl. You can't get rid of him now, right? What do you guys do?
What, give him another year.
This is the ultimate Brett Favre fucking Aaron Rodgers scenario is the way he's looking at it. Don't worry. Jimmy's when Jimmy stops winning Super Bowls for us, this young gun's gonna slide right on in here and we're gonna win some more.
Yeah, this is like if Brett Favre was a low talent underwear model type of guy. That's this makes no sense.
I think here's the thing. It depends on how Trey is performing in practice. They'll know when he's ready and when they put him in. Like, I'm not worried about when they put him in or nothing. I just want to win a Super Bowl.
But you guys moved up to number 3 and gave up the ass to do so. So you got to get him in there. You can't be sitting there like, do you trade him then at that point? Because if Jimmy G, Jimmy G's young. No. But Jimmy G's young. He's not even very old still. So you could have him if he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
What's he, 29? What's he, 29?
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
We just talked about
it for the next 7 years.
So
what do you do then?
Then you figure out a way. Look, you figure it out. That's a good problem. I'll take that problem. I'll take that problem. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, Steve, the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're the Niners front office and you really thought there was any chance that could happen with Jimmy G as your quarterback, why would you move up to 3 to do this? Why would you do that? If you're a Niner fan and you're looking at this through like realistic glasses,
maybe they were wrong.
Yeah. Wrong about what? Wrong about the player they moved up for, or the wrong about the guy there?
Well, if Jimmy G wins a Super Bowl that they thought he could never win, then they were fucking wrong.
Right. That's my point I'm trying to make to you, Steve, though. You're saying they're going to know about this guy they've seen in practice. They're going to know when to move on to this next kid by seeing him in practice. The same then holds true for Jimmy G. You've had years to watch this guy, so they should know what they have right there and whether or not they need to move up to fucking 3 to get a quarterback or not. And so I'm just trying to prepare you for the inevitable here that your team is not going to win the fucking Super Bowl this year, bud. It ain't happening, man. Jimmy G is probably not going to be your starting quarterback by week 5, like I said to you. Week 5, the dude's probably gone. So I think the sooner you come to grips with the fact that he's not good, you guys aren't going to go to the Super Bowl with him, the better off you're going to be. Take it from a Raider fan. Elevating this false sense of hope for so long is crushing to the soul. I'm just doing this because I care about you, Steve. That's all.
Take it from the Cowboy fan. I second that emotion. I'm
going with it because I was feeling good.
Yes.
I'm feeling good.
I'm just trying to show you there's no logic to believing in Jimmy G, my man. There's no logic.
I said the same thing. Like, dude, you can't expect Jimmy G to have the testicular fortitude to have this kid that you just traded this entire draft fucking process for to be able to go out there and perform at a Super Bowl level. You just gave up 3 first-round picks for a kid, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, everybody should take a drink. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just makes no sense to think that he is going to actually turn around and win a Super Bowl, bro, with this kid breathing down.
Preposterous. It's just utterly preposterous. Yeah.
Dude, and to try to play this role like, oh, we're going to stick it out with him. He's going to play all year. He's our guy this year, right? Bro, you're trying to angle for some kind of trade value, but everybody knows, bro, he's crap. You're getting rid of him. That's why you brought the kid in.
Isn't this a question?
No one's going to give nothing up.
Lucky to get a fifth rounder from him. You'd be lucky to get a fifth rounder.
What would you like to see, Steve? This is what you said. Steve.
Well, no, I said these are your three scenarios, and you were like, "Isn't there a fourth?"
I said, "Isn't there more scenarios? Can I get it?
Bring up Jimmy G winning the Super Bowl, and so that's you open the store.
That's my scenario.
You gave us that bullshit scenario. So this is what you got to live with. Once again, you open the door to that. Yeah, in your scenario, you went on Fantasyland bullshit.
Yeah, I like my scenario better.
Yeah. Jimmy G, Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, wins the Super Bowl, right? Passes it off to fucking Trey Lance, right? Turns around, and the Niners are able to trade Jimmy G for 3 first-round picks to the worst team in the league to compensate for the draft picks that they've lost. That's Steve's. That's the floor scenario for Steve in his Niner mind, bro.
I'll take that scenario
there. Earlier we were talking about like how Chris became a fan of certain teams, and this is the thing I've done recently. I've basically abandoned fandom for teams. And this is exactly why. Fandom for teams is a mental illness. If you look at what it makes you do, the kind of mental gymnastics one engages in to try to justify some bullshit for a fucking emblem that some billionaire put together is the most asinine shit I've ever seen. I'm a fan of players at this point. I'm a fan of the Warriors because I like Steph, I like Clay, I like Draymond. Somebody else gets a player I like Portland's got Dame. I'm a fan of Dame, so I root for Portland because Dame's on there. That is some dumb shit. That's a mental illness, Steve. You got your little Superman emblem there with your fucking dumb shit team.
Yeah,
it's a mental illness. Mentally ill.
Yeah. You should have stuck with the old. You should have stuck with the old symbols before you and your little young mucks, start. Yeah, Steve, that's the symbol. I could get
Steve,
that.
you know what you should do? Go get an emblem with a Q and got SF in the middle of it. That's more realistic.
Doesn't realize.
Right?
Steve doesn't realize that signature is actually Kerry Kittles and not George Kittle's.
All right. We're at about 3 hours, though.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up. You have to go. Yeah.
Yes. Let's wrap it up, guys. Come on, guys. Close out,
Steve.
Guy. Come on.
All right. Well, I mean,
everybody give each other a look.
You want me to say, "Hey guys, it's over"?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's the closure here? Yeah,
there's the closure. I guess the closure is. I guess that's the closure.
All right, man. So if we are we going to try to hit one of these up tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll hit you guys up in the morning. I'll do my thing and send the invite and shit.
All right, sounds good, man. I'll see you.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you later. Look, he's logging back in.
How do you not hit stop? How do you not hit stop, bro? I thought it was perfect. I thought we were all going to hit leave studio and then you'd hit stop.
No,
it was good. Yeah, leave studio. All right, guys.
Later.